Hello everyone. Uh, Hope you are all well. Can you hear me?
Yes, so
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Let me share my video. Let me know if you guys can see me.
yes,
yes, so
yes, sir.
Okay. So I can see multiple participants has joined the class. So let's wait for a couple of minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes. Let's see. Let's wait for 1 or 2 more folks to join, and then we'll start. Okay. Uh, 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 um, okay. We have sufficient participants now. So let's start. Okay, so hello everyone. I welcome you all to this beautiful course, to this prestigious course, ACCA, which is one of the most prestigious course in the globe, not only in the India, but at the globe level. So let me introduce myself. My name is Vishal. I'm an ACCA affiliate and I'm a rank holder at ACCA professional as well as skill level. And I have also a 6 years of corporate experience in finance and accounting. So I'll be excited to share my knowledge and insight with you all. So before we deep dive into what we are about to start, like business and technology for ACCA, so I just want to allow yourself to just introduce you one by one, like what's your name, whether you are based in Delhi or outside Delhi, whether you are based in India or outside India, and why did you basically join the ACCA, and also mention your qualification, like whether you have completed your schooling or you are currently graduating or you are also pursuing any other course other than ACCA. So who wants to start, or should we go by alphabetically? Anyone? Uh, I think there's complete silence. So I'll basically start with like alphabetically, I think. So first name that is coming on my screen is Arya Ravendkar. So Arya, can you hear us? And if you can, so please unmute yourself and you can just give yourself a quick introduction and then we'll move to Arjun.
Hello, sir. My name is Arya Revankar and I'm from Mumbai.
Okay.
I gave my 12th exam.
Okay, nice.
Yes, that's it.
And Aya, why did you join basically ACCA? Basically, somebody referred you or you already knew about it?
No, just because I found this course very interesting because it was globally and
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, nice to hear from you, Arya. So Arjun, would you like to start?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. My
Okay,
name is Arjun. I'm from Delhi and
okay,
I'm currently pursuing my undergraduation from Delhi University.
nice.
And I joined this course because it matches my interest in finance and it has a global recognition.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
I
sir.
think, okay. Avni, I think you're next. Uh, okay.
Yeah, my name is Avni and I'm from Kolkata. I
Mm-hmm.
just completed my 12th boards and
Nice,
I joined this course basically because it has global acceptance and it's really good.
nice.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think next is Divyam Jain. Divyam, can you hear
hi,
us?
sir.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is Divyam Jain. I am from
Right.
Jhalra Patan, from
Okay,
Rajasthan,
okay.
and someone referred me that course of SCCA,
Mm-hmm.
and so I am doing this, or I recently completed my 12th standard boards.
Nice, Divyam. And Jay,
Yes,
Jay,
sir.
yes,
Sir, I'm Jay Arora from Chandigarh. Sir, I'm
okay,
basically pursuing my undergraduation from Punjab University, ST College.
nice.
So, sir, I have just enrolled in ACCA because it has global acceptance. And I want to do something different. Like, I don't want to do CA. I want to try something different.
Okay, nice. Something interesting to hear. Well, you all are right that this course has the global recognition, and basically there's alternative course. I think you, if you are from 12th, like you just cleared all your, you just guys are mostly from, just pursuing your undergrad, or you just completed your schooling. So basically you might or may know about the chartered accountancy course, which is based in India. So interesting to hear about it. So I think next is Kushraj.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I just recently completed my plus two boards,
Right.
and I felt that it is interesting to do ACCA because it has global recognition
Mhm,
and
mhm.
it matches my interest in accounting and finance.
Okay, so nice to know. And Khyati, uh, Khyati, I can you hear us? Because I think,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Sir, my name is Kathy,
Mhm,
and I'm basically from Chandigarh. I'm doing my BCom from Chandigarh,
mhm,
and
mhm,
I am pursuing my BCom honors,
mhm, mhm.
and I am doing ACCA because it is globally accepted.
Okay, nice. So everybody's saying that it is globally accepted. Do you know why it is globally accepted? uh, I'll come to it. Okay. So I think after Kritika.
Good evening, sir. I'm
Good
Kritika,
evening.
and I just completed my 12th course. So I
Okay,
preferred the ACCA, and it also has global recognition, so I decided to do it.
nice. Okay. Nikhil.
Good evening, sir. My name is Nikhil. I am from Chandigarh.
Nice.
I have given my 12th exams. Sir, first
Okay.
I was doing CA.
Okay.
That CA only suggests me that you can do ACCA. It has more scope than CA. So I have chosen.
Okay. Nikhil, just one question, if you're comfortable. Basically, you are currently still pursuing a CA along with ACCA, or you have left the CA and now switched to ACCA?
Sir, I have just given 12th exams. But
Okay.
I was selecting CA, but after
Mhm.
that, CA only suggests me that you can do
Okay.
ACCA.
After counseling, right. Okay. Nice to know. Now I think Pratiksha.
Say good evening, sir.
Good
This is
evening.
Pratiksha. This is
Right.
Pratiksha Putran from Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra.
Okay.
And I was supposed to do CA, but then I have like my mom suggested me about ACCA. So
Okay.
after knowing about ACCA, I was like, it's much more flexible and something very
Right.
new to start with. So finally, I've decided to continue my career journey as for becoming as ACCA.
Yeah, very well added, Pratiksha, because one thing about ACCA course is that it is much flexible as compared to the
Right.
CA course. Please do not consider that CA course is better or ACCA course is better. Both are professional course. So basically you have to see based on each circumstances like which course is better. But yeah, rightly said, like ACCA gives you kind of flexibility as a student. So there is a lot of flexibility for a student when pursuing ACCA. So definitely a good point, Pratiksha. So I think next is Priksha, right?
Hi, sir. My name is
Hello.
Preksha.
Yep.
I am from Delhi. I am currently pursuing my graduation.
Okay, nice.
So I joined it because it has global acceptance
Mhm.
and time duration is also less as compared to CA. So I also had my interest in accountancy. So that's why I chose it.
Okay. So you are currently doing graduation, right? So one more point to add that this is going to take less time. Well, I would say yes or no. Basically depends on the student, like how dedicatedly he studies. See, I'll make one point clear to all of you. Like if you have any assumption related to like this course is faster or easier compared to CA, I would not agree with all of you. In case you have that mindset in your mind, I would say that this course allows you flexibility. Now that flexibility can give you an advantage. So keep that in mind that this only gives you flexibility, but in terms of preparation, in terms of working hard, this requires a lot of effort from your side. So please have that mindset in your end that, okay, I'm going to prepare and give it my all. It's not like that, okay, this is ACCA, this is much easier. So please don't consider it that. Okay, this is for all, not to point out anyone. Okay, please try to take it as a understanding. Okay, thanks, Preksha. That's again one more point I just wanted to address before we started. So thanks for adding that. So Priyanshu, I think you're next.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Myself, Priyanshu Jha, and I am from Mumbai. And I have just completed my 12th boards.
Okay.
And I choose ACCA because it is globally accepted and it is flexible.
Nice, 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 Priyanshu. I think Raki.
Yes, sir. Very good evening.
Good evening.
Very good evening, everyone. I also I qualified my 12th last year only, and currently I am pursuing BBA.
Okay, nice.
So, but as a BBA, with currently as a BBA, I also want to have another course as a side course, as a safer side. So I was deciding to pursue with the ACCA
Right.
Because it's really
okay. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
That only I was telling that
yeah. Okay.
Globally integrated, and it's really very well scoped for us to attain a ACCA.
Okay, nice. Actually, I like this interaction that we are having right now, that you guys are actually making points that as a student, when I was like after clearing my 12th or after clearing my, I just started my grad. So I had all these, assumptions like there's a safer side or, but I would say that definitely doing a side course, like you have a professional degree. This is a professional course. This is different from your graduation or post graduation, like people do BA, MBA, BCom, MCom. So this is our professional, these are basically degrees, university degrees. But ACCA, CAs, like there's a CPA for the US, there's another degrees. So these are basically professional degrees. So having a professional degree definitely gives you an advantage. Not like if I'm from a corporate world, so I can assure you that there is definitely advantage to people who basically have the professional degree with them, right? So nice point, Raki, that there's a people do the course for the being on safer side, and this is actually really good, right? Having a side course as well. So Raksha, I think you're next.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, I'm doing right now BBA and
nice.
Yes, sir. So I have also decided to do side course also.
Okay.
Because means I am interested in business studies, economics.
Nice. So that's good to know. And actually this subject is actually about business and economics and finance. So definitely a great way to start. Actually I forgot to ask all of you, but don't mind now. Actually, I wanted to know that this was your first subject in, like, because you are all right now in applied knowledge. So basically this was your first subject, or you are also taking another subject, but no, don't mind. You can also mention that in chat, because now we are already through. So I think Sagar, you are up. Meanwhile, you guys can actually tell me, like, this is your first subject of the ACC, or there's another subject that you are already taking or you have already taken, or somebody here has actually taken ACC exam. I would definitely like to hear from someone like that. So Sagar.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I gave my 11th exam in last week. And
okay.
This is my first class.
Okay.
And
nice.
I choose SCA because it is an international course.
Right.
And more flexible than other Indian course like CA and CS.
Okay. Nice, Sagar. So Sagar, you are after 12th. Okay. Yeah, you said
11th.
11. Okay, you're in 11th. Nice.
I give exam in last week.
Okay.
I finished my final exam of 11th.
Yeah, you're starting very early, and that's really good, Sagar.
Thank you.
Okay, nice to know. Nice to know. Really. Okay. I think next is Sankalp. So first session, first subject, MA. Sorry, Sankalp. Can you hear us?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
This is Sankar Chaturvedi, and I'm from Mathura.
Sankalp, can you speak little loud? I think I'm not sure. Like this is at my end that I'm not able to hear you properly.
No problem, sir. Sir,
Okay.
myself Sankar Chaturvedi, and I'm from Mathura.
Okay. Nice.
My mama is here, and he recommended me to do ACCA.
Your Mamaji is?
CA.
Okay. Many CAs are referring ACCA. That's nice to know.
He referred me that you should do ACCA instead of CA.
Okay. I'll be honest. I have pursued CA, and yeah, I'll discuss it later on. But I have pursued CA, and even now today, that I would not directly suggest you should do ACCA, but yeah, I would basically look at the person, and then after having one-on-one counseling, only then I will suggest, because in my LinkedIn profile I have received multiple questioning about this, like whether we should do CA or ACCA. So I have received these questions. So yeah, this is interesting to know, and most of the time I also suggest after counseling that you should guys do ACCA. That basically becomes the ultimate conclusion. But in some of the cases I've also mentioned, like, you guys should do CA as well. So that depends on the individual. But yeah, I'm finding it interesting that many CAs are right now basically suggesting people to do ACCA. That's interesting. Okay, nice, uncle. Thank you. Okay, Somaya, sorry, Somaya. I didn't pronounce your name correctly. So Somaya, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. So I am currently doing BCom, and my major is banking and finance.
Okay,
so
nice.
one of my friends, she was doing ACCA, so she suggested me. So
Nice.
obviously, since my major is in finance, I thought, no, it would
Nice.
helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Nice to know, Soumya. Shivraj.
Hello everyone and good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am Sibraj and I am from Kathmandu, Nepal. And
Nice.
here I just run a startup, like software startup. And after filing like company audit twice, I just got fascinated towards like financial subjects. And due to my time and like working career, so I just lastly like a couple of month here back, I just joined like BBS here in Nepal,
Okay.
in Nepal Open University, and I also just come through this ACCA course, and I just landed here.
Okay,
So
nice. That's really interesting, Sankalp. Like, I found your background really interesting. And now, since you're from Nepal, I can say, okay, this is an international batch officially. Okay. Nice, Sankalp. Okay. Glad to hear from you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I think who's next? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Shivraj. I just mistook you from Sankalp. So, Siddharth.
Good evening, sir. This is
Good
Siddharth
evening.
Srivastava. I'm from Kanpur. I am pursuing my graduation from CSJMU.
Okay.
Sir, I want to take ACCA because it is different from regular courses.
Yeah, rightly said. This is actually very different. And this is actually a professional course. So most of the professional courses are definitely different from the regular courses, right? Shrivi, can you hear us? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
My full name is Srivarsha.
Srivarsha.
I'm studying class 12. I'm from Tamil Nadu.
Okay, interesting.
And I opted ACCA due to its global acceptance, and you get to know about international level business.
Nice.
And I think to some extent it's equivalent to CA also. So that's why.
Yeah. So equivalent or to basically, like, this is one of the doubts. I would discuss it. Like, this is one of the doubts. Like, some people feel, okay, whether doing ACCA is worth enough like doing CA. Like, this actually comes a question in many people's mind. See, depends in what context you're saying. That actually depends. That is a very subjective question, like depends on the person, depends on the circumstances. So like you mentioned, like this is equivalent of doing CA, so rightly said, but it depends on the context. Like if you are doing ACCA, see, there's a limitation of doing an international course where there is a national course already in a country. Like we have chartered accountancy course, so definitely in terms of practice, I'm not sure like many of you, because you are from like just done your schooling, so many of you are familiar with the word practice or not. So there is a term practice which basically only a certified chartered accountant can take, basically a person who has a COP, certificate of practice. So this actually gives a limitation to a ACC, because he cannot indulge himself in the practice in the India. Like he cannot sign audit reports for an Indian company. That's this right is only limited to chartered accountants only. So yeah, this definitely depends on the context we are right now talking about. So interesting. Yeah, thanks, Ravi. Okay, so who's next? Yeah, a couple of more folks. So I know, guys, that this is taking time. This is taking little time, but I want to know each of you, and that actually you guys are telling me stuff, so that's actually bringing up stuff that I actually want to discuss during the class. So it's good to know that what you have a kind of mindset and what background you have. So that actually helps me you know to what extent should I whether should I start with the base, or should I start with the knowing that you already have a background. So this actually helps me basically based on like what method should I use in terms of teaching. So I think Webhub, you are next. I think there are
Yes, sir.
two Webhubs right now in the class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am Vaibhav Rathi from Mumbai. I have just given my 12th exams,
Right.
and I
Okay.
want to pursue ACCA because it is globally recognized and it's flexible.
Right.
Not only in India, uh, uh, it is applicable in all the other countries, maximum of the countries. So
Right. Right. Right.
we have more scope in ACCA. That's why.
Again, scope. Yeah. Again, that's a very subjective thing. Scope depends on like which terms you want to say. Definitely, I would not undermine you. ACCA has definitely an immense level of exposure and immense level of scope in terms of jobs and everything. So definitely, there is a immense level of opportunities waiting for you once you clear this wonderful course. So there's definitely a lot to do. So I think there's another Weber in our class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Vaibhav and I am pursuing my BCom honors from Punjab University, Patiala.
Okay, nice.
And I have come to know about this course from my coaching institute, from which I was taking my CA foundation classes.
Nice.
Yes, sir. But CA, I have given my attempt in November 22. I failed in business law exam.
Okay.
So I pursue this course because that takes too much time.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. One thing to know by you, everyone, that CA course has this limitation that it only takes 6 months. It is basically by half yearly. Only 2 exams are done at CA level. So that is definitely a disadvantage, that it takes a lot of time, and this actually gives a disadvantage for a student. So definitely good point there. So thanks, Webab, and we'll surely try to cover as much as we can, and I will give my best, and I hope you will give yours. So I hope you would not see anything like what you have faced in the CA. So we'll try our best. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. So Vansh, I think you are next.
Good evening, sir.
Good
This
evening.
is my first subject of ACCA.
Nice.
And I'm currently pursuing statistics honors from Delhi University.
Okay, nice.
Since I'm from commerce background, so I always had interest towards finance and accounts side. So this was my choice to take up ACCA as a professional course.
Nice, Vansh. Vinisha.
Hello, sir. Good
Hello.
evening.
Good evening.
I'm Vinisha from Mumbai. I am pursuing my undergraduation, and I chose ACCA because it would help me in my journey of being a professional accountant. And I was suggested by my relative because she is a CA, and she suggested for pursuing ACCA.
Nice, Vinisha. Nice to know. Okay, Virinda. Virinda, I think yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Brinda Satija. I am currently in class 12 and
Mhm.
I chose ACCA because of the global acceptance it has. And my father, who is a CA, suggested me this course.
Okay, now C is also nice, interesting. Actually, you know why people are suggesting who have done CA or CS is basically the amount of the kind of flexibility. I think I have already covered this point. The kind of flexibility the ACCA is right now offering, and also the kind of knowledge. There was like in 2017, if you ask me like what is ACCA, very few people know at that time. But now the awareness about this course is increasing rapidly, and that's why now you are seeing people clearing the ACCA exam a lot. If you have a LinkedIn account, like basically I'll suggest all of you to open a LinkedIn account, like that will definitely help you add your professional career. So basically you'll see a lot of stuff going on there about like ACCA. Any finance update is there, you'll find it there. So there's a lot of people, basically I get a lot of feeds about people clearing ACCA. So and this has actually increased recently a lot. So there's a lot of awareness going about ACCA. So definitely people are suggesting, like when they come to know like the flexibility that it has and the opportunity that it offers, like you can have you are doing an international course, so it does not limit you to the one country. It basically exposes you to multiple countries. So definitely there is immense awareness going on right now, and this course will definitely right now it's on growth level. It's rapidly growing, so it will continue to do so like for next couple of years. So good to know. Now I think we have covered Vinisha. Oh no, I think Virinda also. There's very one interesting name like Blessy. So Blessy, can you hear us? Oh, I think this is not okay. Okay, I think this is some okay. So that was a really wonderful introduction by everyone. So thank you for tell letting me know about yourself, about your background, and why do you join ACCA. So as already covered, that ACCA is a professional course. It has global acceptance. It gives you flexibility, and there's access to global market, global opportunities. So there's a lot of stuff about ACCA. So definitely a worth course to pursue, and definitely a good scope for yourself. So now let's start with business and technology that we are here for. And I can see like many people has commented that this is their first subject. Some of them are already completing their, this is some of the students have, this is my doing completed my. Okay, nice to know. Second subject with my first subject was I'm blessed. So many students, this is their first subject. So it basically, increases my responsibility to uh, help you understand the subject. And this is one of the most important subject as a foundation. This is about to create a foundation for you to basically understand the scope for not just ACCA subjects, but also to the entire business and economics. So let me quickly share my screen and let's start with this subject. Okay, sharing screen. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just going to expand it. Okay, I hope it's visible. Now I have just increased the,
Yes, sir.
okay, nice. So after the introduction, let's jump to the subject, business and technology. Like what is business and technology and what's its importance and why basically, just one thing to add, business and technology is not only at basically at foundation, yeah, like the applied knowledge level. This is also at the skill level. And this is also at the professional level, and and a one compulsory subject in the professional level. Like in professional level, you have 4 subjects to give, and one of them is strategic business leadership. And if you have a strong base about this business and technology, you are going to have a better chance at clearing the paper at the professional level. And this is the only subject that actually many people struggle in terms of passing. It has a good percentage of passing, but in terms of understanding concepts, because many people at the professional level come from CA background, so they actually face difficulty in clearing that subject. Because this is if I talk about this subject, this is kind of a mini MBA. If I put it correctly, this is kind of a mini MBA. Basically, it tells you about like what is the business, what is the need of understanding a business. Though you guys are all going to be finance and accounting professional, but still ACCA emphasized to you that you guys learn about what is business and technology. And at this applied knowledge level that they start, like they have introduced you 3 key important subjects, like finance and account, like the accounting, the I think management accounting, and then there is this business and technology, which is basically one of the most important subject, if I say, in terms of creating your foundation. Because you guys just started with this professional course, so it is very important for you to basically create a base at this level. Because once that base is strong, then definitely you'll be able to move ahead and understand like what you're doing. Like you have heard like you are doing accounting. Now why do you do accounting? Why? Basically, what is the need? Why somebody is hiring someone and asking them, okay, do my accounting? Why this is important? So basically this subject gives you that foundation. So this is one of the important subject in terms of creating a foundation for yourself, creating an understanding, creating fundamentals. Okay, so let's start with it. So just a quick update, though this is given detail in your books. Like I hope, how many of you guys have the BPP books right now, or you are about to receive your books?
Sir, actually, I was supposed to ask you about the books that which edition to order.
Okay. Basically, let's say there are one good point. Like there is going to be an update. Like after the September month, there's going to be an addition to the business and technology. Some topics to basically change in the new syllabus. As because ACCA basically what it does not teach you something that is old, not obsolete. It tries to update its course again and again. It's not like some changes in law and provisions or some amendments. Basically it tries to change the concepts as per what is required right now. Like there is a Ukraine and Russia war going on. There is a global crisis in terms of shortage of material, shortage of supplies. Everywhere is inflation is high. So you are right now currently living in such environment. So what ACCA tries to do is tries to update itself with the what is going on in the current era, and accordingly that basically includes in your okay, many people have basically includes in your study curriculum, so that once you become professional, you guys are basically aware as much as possible about what is going in real life. So that is one of the one of the things that I like about ACCA, that it does not teach you anything that is okay 10 years old and you just read it and you just apply the formula and you learn the formula and you just go in exam and write it down. No, it doesn't work like that. It tries to what I'd say, it doesn't ask you to cram the answer. What it asks you is to understand the concept and apply your knowledge, and that you will see after going at each level. So that's why the one that you mentioned, like which one which one subject to which book actually to buy. So I would suggest, in case you are giving exam before September, you're planning to give exam before September, so I would suggest to buy the edition of like June 20, like June 22 to June 23. I think this September 23, I think this edition would be helpful for you. But in case you are planning to give your exam after September, then definitely the new edition that starts from 2023 September to June, something like that. So that you can check. So based on like when you are about to give your exam, and that will actually depend on which edition you should buy. And one more thing to add, when I'm basically we are discussing this, Basically, there's a good thing in case you are giving this subject, the passing rate is very high. The passing rate of the subject is actually very high, like it's 70 and 80%. But that does not mean that you should not study and you should just take this subject lightly. No, as I mentioned, that this is one of the most important subject, and not because I'm teaching it, because it is actually this is actually a fundamental subject, subject for you, like creating fundamental concepts. So definitely, please, even you feel that okay, I am good at clearing exams, I have a good percentage in my schooling and my undergrad, do not take this subject lightly. I know that most of you will be clearing this exam, because the way we are going to prepare, we are going to prepare in a way that will definitely help us passing this exam. Introduce their own study hub. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rightly mentioned, Aslan, that ACCA have their own study hub. So I'll be introducing that to you guys. Okay. And so what I was saying, like, okay. So let me just give you quickly about like what this subject is about. So I think those who, like, one of two guys folks have mentioned that they have cleared like their management accounting or like finance accounting. So in terms of that, the I think you guys know that this is only a 2-hour paper. You'll be required to sit in the exam like 2 hours, but don't enjoy in the upcoming exams, like in the skill level, once you'll be there, or in the professional level, the hours are going to increase and you are going to enjoy that a lot. So, and this is on demand exam. So on demand exam means that whenever you feel that okay, you guys are ready, well, like there's no date, you guys actually tell like what is the date I want to give my exam. So I think there's a proper procedure like when you will be registering yourself. So definitely after that, you can, after whenever you feel comfortable, you can give your exam. And my recommendation would be, once we have completed the batch, once we have done all the tests, because there are going to be tests, and you have scored more than 70%, I'll suggest go ahead and give your exam. But if you don't score 70% and you are struggling, so I would not suggest you to clear your to appear for the exam. That would be waste. So but we will prepare as like we need to, and definitely most of us are going, like, if you study, I think every one of you will clear. It's not like okay that basically that question I want to ask from you guys, like, because this is a weekend class. See, they are let me tell you from the beginning that this is about to take like 20 or 22 classes. That is what my estimate is. But if you guys want, we can do some classes like, because this is a weekend classes, we can do some classes in the weekdays, but timing would be different. Like it would not be in the evening. I have to check like with the VG team, and I'll inform them like when we need extra classes, and maybe we can do like in the early stage, or maybe like later on. That depends. Like I'll ask you guys like when do you want to complete this subject. So based on the majority, like what majority people want, because see, classes will be available to you. That is the advantage. Classes will be available to you, but I want every one of you to be with me when basically within June. Okay, there are many answers coming within June. Okay, so we'll see. So basically what I want, these classes to be online, this classes to be interactive. It's not like that there are few students and I'm just talking to a couple of students, and because there's a variety of students, so definitely many people ask questions that needs to be asked, and that actually clears concepts of many people. So that's why I want it to be a interactive session. So majority is now coming with weekdays batches are also going along with the weekend batches. Yeah, that's how we are planning. Like when I say weekdays batches, it's not like there's going to be off in the weekend. So we'll see weekend classes till what will be the syllabus complete order, like as mentioned June, because this is going to take like 20 classes, 22 classes. So but I have to check with VG team like whether I can do this, like whether I can do the weekdays classes or not. So that has to be checked. And I have to also check like my professional deadlines, like whether this is meeting with them. So with that all considering, so I will be giving you answer like whether we can do this weekdays classes. This is just a suggestion right now, so we'll be checking this later on. Okay. So we'll try to cover, but we'll not rush. I don't want, to, in order to complete the syllabus, we just rush it, because some of the concepts are those which actually you are going to read like again and again. And ACCA, if concept that is given in a subject that ACCA wants from applied level to the skill level to the professional level, then that concept is definitely very important. So I don't want to rush some, concepts in order to, finish this batch. We have to complete it, but we have to complete it within proper understanding, which is crystal clear to you guys. That is most important, right? So to enroll for weekday classes, no, it's not like weekdays. See, as I think there's some confusion, let me clear it to you. We are going to have a weekend class. Okay, weekend class are going to be there. I'll check with the VG team whether we can have a weekdays class as well. Also, I have to check my professional because I'm right now also, in a corporate world. So I have to meet that professional obligation there also. So I'll check also the timing, and according to that, I'll be trying to, introduce some weekdays class along with the weekend class. It's not like, okay, there's going to be weekdays class, so there's not going to be weekend class. So we are going to go like in a week, let's say we have Saturday, Sunday classes, and then maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday. It's not like this is going to skip for the Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so we'll try to cover, and we'll try to cover quickly. Please also. Yeah, basically, see, if you are in school, I don't think that there should be any challenge in terms of, clearing, in terms of managing, because school time, what I understand, what I remember from my schooling time, it was max to max 6 hours. I hope I'm quoting it correct. And after that, there's school homework. I definitely agree. There's exam preparation to be done for the school. That I definitely agree. But once you become a professional, you'll understand the pain, and then you'll remember, okay, I wish it was my school time. I would have had time. Okay, so don't think that it would be difficult for you. It will definitely be manageable. I can assure you, because I completed my ACCA with my job, and that is a 9-hour plus job. So don't worry, you'll be able to clear that. There's no going to be a problem. But yeah, I will consider. And then there's definitely a recording classes, so that will also be considered. Okay, I think we can now move ahead. So as given, like, about the deadline, that will be definitely having a discussion, and this is a computer based, as you already know, and there's a 2 section in this exam. I'm just quickly reading the pointers. I hope you all can see. Like, this is a 100 mark consisting, and there is no option, like you will not get any option in this exam, like you can do this question or that question. All the questions that are given are compulsory. You have to do the all question. In case you don't want the mark, then you don't do it. Otherwise, you have to do all the question. And there'll be 2 sections, section A, section B. Section A basically consisting of 46 questions. Basically, some questions, like 30 questions will be of 2 marks, and then there will be I think 16 question of 1 mark. So that will be a like multi-choice question. If you know MCQ, or basically the question comes, you select one of the option, and then multi-responsive questions. Multi-responsive is quite slightly different, but in the same format. And there's no going to be an objective question where you basically a subjective question, basically where you going to write it down. Nothing is required here. This is going to be basically a MCQ, a multi-responsive question, and each section require its own kind of study. Like section A will be like 46 questions, and section B would be like approximately like 6 questions containing 4 marks each. So section B would be important. And one interesting thing to know about section B, that if let's say a question has 4 marks, okay, and there are going to be responses that each time you have to select for each mark. To honor each mark, you have to select a single response for that particular section. And let's say out of all the responses, some of the responses are incorrect, so you'll gain marks for the responses that are correct. It's not like, okay, you out of all the responses you have given incorrect answer, so entire question will be long. But that is only for section B. This is not like for section A, that okay, you have answered one incorrect response, so that will be they'll give you half mark. No, in section A, either you are right or you're wrong. But in section B, you have this advantage where you can even if you're wrong, you'll get some marks in case one of the responses you have selected is right. Okay, but My expectation from you guys will be complete your exam. I don't care whether you know the answer or not know the answer. You should be, walk out of the, when you walk out of the hall of that examination, you should be clearing all that questions. It's not like you are leaving that question. That would be biggest mistake. There is a percentage of students that fail. That is very few, like 20 or 30, depends on like attempt to attempt. But when they fail, the only mistake, the most common mistake that examiner teams has reported, there's an examiner report that actually provide like what mistakes student commit, and they actually provide you for your understanding, like what is the common mistake student do. So in that they have mentioned like the students who actually fail to clear the exam are the ones who have not attempted 100 marks, and that is one of the biggest mistake. And I find it not a very wise mistake, like a very genuine mistake. Sometimes mistakes happen, but this is not a very genuine one. You should be able to manage your time in order to complete the exam, because it's a you have the flexibility of choosing the answer. So you should try to there's some, okay, you should try to complete it. Is there any negative? No, there's no negative marking. Either you are right or you are wrong. There's no negative marking. That's why the percentage is high. So don't worry, there's no negative marking. No negative marking. Even the section B, even if you, like I mentioned, like even when you do any silly mistake, like selecting a incorrect response, still if you have selected a right response, you'll be gaining marks. So don't worry about that. Passing marks is 50%. So I think 50 is, should not be your target to clear. Come on, this is a very scoring subject, and this is going to be a very interesting subject. So, let me tell you one tip, and that is actually what I did during my studies. When there is a two section, like section A, section B. So for like in the skill level, there will be three sections, or like two sections in the skill level and three sections in the professional level. So I actually set a target for a section, like how much score I want to do, so that my percentage of passing actually increases. So like in section A, there is a 76 marks. So and this is what I'm expect of you, though you might find it very impractical, but I expect of you that out of 76 marks, you should be able to score at least 40 to 44 in any case. In any case, you should be able to score at least 40 to 44. You'll say, sir, what is this? This is too high. Why 44, 40, 40, 44? That way we will be, if we are that good, so we'll clear the exam. Why do we, this is very impractical target. No, this is not. Try to understand why I'm setting a 40, 44 marks target for section A. Because see, there's I have mentioned that there's a tip, like you should be doing the CBA practice platform like 3 to 4 times, and this is I'm going to introduce you later. So once you start practicing the question, because there's a mock test series that goes on, so once you start that mock test series, so you should check whether you are able to score 40 marks plus in the section A. That is very important, and that is a very important tip for clearing exam. Why? Because if you're not able to score 40 plus in the section A, then you'll know, okay, your concepts are not clear, or you are not attempting the question correctly. This is going to be a computer based exam. This is not going to be a regular paper pen exam. So sitting in that environment also requires a skill. That is also important. So I would suggest, try to, once the syllabus is complete, and not only once the syllabus is complete, during the studies also, even in the class, we'll solve questions and we'll set time for that. See, we'll have to learn time management. We'll have to learn like how to interpret the question correctly, and we'll have to understand the concepts. All couple of things we have to do, and then appear for the exam. Only then we'll be able to definitely pass. If you follow these tips, definitely you are going to pass, and there's nobody that can stop you. Because in section B, scoring 10 marks out of 24 is not that difficult. See, try to have that mentality that if I score 40 plus, then section B scoring 10 marks would not be difficult. And that does not mean my target for you is to score only for 50. As I said, that target should be higher, but when we are studying, when I see like what the progress we are making, based on that only we'll be basically checking like what kind of expectation I will set. I'll tell my expectation of you, and you'll find it interesting. And at least challenging. That is my guarantee. You'll find it at least challenging, and there should be things that should be challenging. Only then you'll be encouraged to pursue that. So keep it that in mind. Okay, I think somebody has asked a question. So how much time we should ACCA in a day? Okay, so that's a good question. Like, how much time should we give to ACCA in a day? I'll tell you what I did with my job. With when I was studying with my job, I even when I was in a hectic work, like we started at like 9 a.m. and then we were doing it like finishing like by 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. Like after doing more than 14-15 hours, even then, even in my hectic days, I ensured that I will spend at least 30 minutes. In my normal days, I'll spend at least 2 hours. And in my hectic days, I'll spend at least 30 minutes. Not knowing new concepts, in case in case I'm hectic, I'll try to revise the classes itself or revise the concept that I already know. I think somebody's on mute. Kushwal, do you want to say something? Okay. Okay, no worries. So in case, please make sure that you guys are on mute. In case you want to say something, please raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Okay. So yeah, definitely. Not learning concepts, storing. Yeah, definitely. They will be sufficient. They will be sufficient. I'll assure you. We have to learn the concept. We'll have to apply in mind. We'll not cram. Will not try to cram any concept. I'll tell you. You'll not be ratifying things. That is not how we are going to do in this class. We are going to understand the concept, and in order to pass these concepts, you have to repeat it again and again. I'll not recommend anyone to try to memorize anything. No, this is not going to help you. This is only going to waste your time. ACCA is more about analytics, and analytics requires you to use your mind and not ratify things. This is not how it works here. So because it's an MCQ, so once question is asked, what is this, so you have to remember what is like what needs to be done here. But instead of memorizing, I'll ask you to test yourself again and again. And how do we are going to do? We are going to repeat the questions. How we are going to attempt many questions in this class, as well as I'll give you in the homework. So by doing it multiple times, by practicing and by practicing, like let me just tell you clearly, you'll be required to read the book like 2 to 3 times, like the class notes that I give, or you can also read the BP study material, and there will be some resources that I'll be sharing with you. And all these resources, if you read 2 to 3 times, and then you just attempt your questions multiple times, then definitely that is enough. I don't think that you would need to refer any other source. Okay, so I think we are done with the queries. So now let me introduce you to the subject. Just a moment. Yep. Now this is business and technology. I hope you guys can see it clearly, right? Because there is some panel going in right at my right hand. So I'm not sure like whether you guys can see it completely. The screen is completely visible to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Is there any other question? What is the whole is? Yeah, we'll cover that. Like what is ACA versus ACCA? I think because we are now deep diving into this subject, we are about to deep dive into the subject. So I think I would have answered it earlier, but now let's first focus on the subject. Yeah, I'll definitely answer like the CA and ACCA, which is better. Like if you listen to my opinion earlier, I have said it like this is basically a very subjective answer. It's like depend on the person who's basically wants to do CA or ACCA, and also depends on the circumstances. Like what is the like somebody wants to pursue a job, somebody wants to do a business, somebody wants to to go into the practice. So where subject, that where word is very important. Like what is the location, like what is the job opportunity, what is the experience of that person. So that depends on a lot of factors. That's why I'm not going to straight away say you okay, do ACCA because now I'm in ACCA, or do CA because I'm in CA. No, that's not how it works. So that will depend. Okay, so that's a very subjective answer. So yeah, I'll cover that later on. In case you still are confused, so you can basically I'll share my number with you guys, and you can just I think we already are in WhatsApp group, so you can ask me there and let me know in case you need some kind of understanding in terms of that. Let me tell you, this is a worth pursuing course. You'll not regret it. Pursuing this course, you'll not regret it at all. Just you need to ensure that there's a requirement of 3 years training, so you have to go through that also. It's not like, okay, you have completed your studies and you don't do anything else and you just you are good with that. No, you would definitely require to complete your 3 years of training, because that is also required in case you want to be a ACCA certified person. Because right now I'm an affiliate, I'm not an ACCA member. So if you want to be an ACCA member, you have to complete some of the requirements. Like one of them is passing all three levels of exam, and then there is a requirement of completing 20 hours of ethical module, and then there's another requirement which is completing 3 years of training. And that training basically you can do with any finance and professional accounting company, or even the company is not into finance and accounting. If you are employed in the finance department, the accounting department, the auditing department, you'll still be able to cover. That is basically a different topic that we will cover later on. Okay, so don't worry about that. So now let's start with the business and organization stakeholder. So I think we have spent like 1 hour in terms of understanding this class and introducing all the query. Now let's jump to the business and technology. So business and technology. Okay, let me also quickly share with you one thing. I think that will be helpful for you. Yeah, just a moment. I think my screen is visible to you. So can you see this this tab that I am right now showing, Vital Source Bookshelf? Can you confirm that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So once you receive your BPP study material, BPP basically has this online facilities also available with them. So let me also guide you through this. And there are things that I have covered in my notes, and that is basically mainly concepts. But in terms of content and all the indexes, that is mainly in the BPP book. So we'll just refer them in case you want. I'll also add those things in the notes, but that would basically make the notes very long. But no worries, in case you want, I'll do that for you. So I'll just log out for you so that I can show you how do you log in. Okay. So this is the site that you are going to basically get yourself familiarized. One is this, and another one is ACCA Global that I'm going to introduce to you in a couple of like very soon. So this is the site, like login.vital. Once you receive your books, so there will be some codes given to you in your book that you can use. So like right now, I'm just entering my mail ID. I hope you guys cannot see my password. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. So this is what you do. Once you reach to this online platform, you'll just log in. And now this is the bookshelf that you get. This is the book right now we are reading, Foundation in Business and Technology. There are other books that during my studies I have done. So you can see that there's this practice kit. I think there will be two books. Like one is for concepts like workbook, and then there will be practice kit. So practice kit is very important. I just want you to, do the practice kit as much as you can. Just treat it as your Bible, Gita, or whatever you want, but do the practice kit as much as you can, if you want to pass. So this is the bookshelf you will get once you log into the online Vital Source, and there will be multiple books. Like I have here multiple books with me, like some of the at the professional level, some of them at screen level. So let's not bore you with those things. So this is the book we are right now having. So we'll just okay, I was reading it. Okay, so let's just jump into it. You'll just select the book and then go to the reading section. And once it's open, so this is the content of the subject we are about to read. This is the introduction, like couple of things there. This is the chapters there we are going to cover. Like there are 19 chapters in the BPP book for your knowledge. There are 19 chapters. We'll be covering all those. Like they have split the chapters into sections. Like they want people to understand like couple of chapters which they feel is collective. So they combined it in a section and they divide the sections. Like there are, I feel, 5 sections. Yeah, there are 5 sections in the BPP. So you'll see that these are the chapters we are going to read about the business organization and their stakeholder. We'll be covering all this. What is business? What do you mean by organization? What do you mean by business? What do you mean by stakeholder? What is a business environment? Like business operates in an environment. So what is it? Like when I say environment, so there's going to be a lot of stuff about like political environment, legal environment, social and demographics of our country, of our international trade. You're going to read a lot about it. There's going to be a legal framework, like companies are required to follow laws. Even the businesses which are not companies, which are like some sole proprietorship, partnership, some cooperative society, all this we'll be covering. That basically requires to follow some legal framework, like some taxations, some auditing requirements, some compliance, some many things are going to be. There's a macro environment study we are going to do. I hope those who have done their schooling, or they are currently doing their undergrad, they know that there's a micro environment or macro environment. In case not, we'll still cover it, don't worry. There's no concept that we'll not be covering. We'll covering each every in detail. Then there's a microeconomic factor, and we are not going to only cover the concepts. We are also covering like how to evaluate, like how to assess, like what are the factors that affect a business. Let's say whether government takes a decision in terms of spending money for like electronics. So whether people with the traditional business practices, whether they will survive, like UPI. I'm not sure, like whether I think you must be all familiar with the online UPI payment. Now we all do the UPI payments. So what happens to the businesses that run on cash? So all these factors that basically affect the business, that we'll be covering. Then there's a corporate governance and social responsibility. uh, Basically you'll say businesses are not there to only earn profits. They are also there to serve the society, and they are required by some they basically need to have some governance in them. They cannot run them and basically greed on profits and do whatever they want. That's one of the key topics of this basically business studies, that we are going to learn about the business, but we are also going to learn that what is the ethics in the business. That is going to be one of the important area that we are going to touch. The control and security and audit, basically something very important for you, something basically a very vast field in itself, like controls. There's going to be controls in terms of like internal, external. There's going to be audits. These are some new words that I'm throwing at you, and I want you to be confused right now. I want you to go, just these words I want you to go through from your head first. Once they bounce, then only I'll try to start explaining each concept one by one. So don't worry, I'm here for you to be comfortable with it. Okay, there's some question after the we solve practice kit questions every chapter. Yeah, that's what my plan is. Like what is BPP? Okay, one of the question is BPP basically is a learning media partner. Like there's a Kaplan, there's a BPP, there's also, and I don't remember, there's also one house for book. These are book published house, which basically have their own way of teaching, and these are basically approved partners of ACCA. ACCA has approved like 3 to 4 subjects, which one of VP is one of them, where basically they can create the syllabus for the basically they can create the content which for the ACCA syllabus. And yeah, definitely we are going to solve the questions after the can we order book set from Amazon. I am no one to advise you that. You can basically ask the VG team related to that. I cannot answer that question. Okay. You guys are putting me into ethical dilemma. Okay, leading and management, recruitment, selection. Basically, I hope most of you are going to for a job. I think some of you may go for a business or some consultancy or freelancing, but there's going to be many of you are going to be exposed to corporate world, the jobs But so we'll be covering these pieces, and this is very important in terms for an organization to run, because organization is just something on paper. The people who run it are actually individuals, and they are mostly employees. So we are going to learn a lot about them. And some of you may, I think, basically I'm an employee, so I know the sentiments here. So I'm not sure like whether as a student you'll be able to relate with me or not. So no worries. And then there will be motivating an individual groups, that I find it very funny, this topic, motivating an individual and group. So training, development, performance appraisal. So basically the business and technology covers its span over the business, the factors that affect the business, like macro micro environments. There's going to be models that we are going to study, then there's going to be ethics that we are going to read about, and then there is going to be how we are going to handle the HR resources, what is the importance of HR. So overall, going each section of the business. And also we are going to read about technologies. Technology is the requirement of business today. So we are going to read a lot about technology. Like, it's not like we are going to be the coder or basically developer, or learn some science. No, we are going to understand those technologies that are here. As a businessman or as a financial professional accountant, you are supposed to know what is there out. Okay, what is basically going on currently. You cannot be like, okay, we used to do cash based transaction, now online based transaction, I don't know, so I'll not do it. No, the world doesn't work that way. So we'll be covering lot of technological factor also, so don't worry. So this, as I said, this is basically a very important subject. Okay. Okay, I think my screen blank out. You guys see it? I'm not sure. Okay. Now, so let's jump to the section 1. Just a moment. Okay, just a moment. How do I basically? One second. Yeah, let's go to the, let's start with the chapter 1. Okay. Business, organization, and stakeholder. So we'll be starting this chapter, and let's see how we are going to go about it. Okay, there's some screen freezing. I'm not sure why. Something is going on here. Just a moment. It's just a moment. Something happened here. Just give me a moment. I think some glitches going on in the background. Not sure why. Let me just start with the business and organization chapter here. I think my PPT is frozen for some reason. In case it does not start, so we'll basically jump to the book itself. That's disappointing. Okay, it's taking its time, so let's not wait for it. Let me share my screen. I'm not able to run my animation. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I think I can share my screen. I was facing. Sorry about that. So really sorry about that. Sure. Okay, I hope you can see the screen now. So I'm not sure like what happened to my PPT. This is not working right now. So I'll be just reading you through the book. So apologies, I didn't wanted this start to be like this, but let's not waste our time. Okay, so we'll be covering this business organization and their stakeholder. And don't worry, I'll be sharing the notes that I have prepared for you guys, and I'll be covering them through for you. So don't worry about that. Okay, will you share the, yeah, sure, sure. These PPTs are for you. Okay. Uh, sorry, Aslan, I cannot, stop the class for the timing, but don't worry. We I'm just going to introduce this topic, so don't worry about that. You can later on watch it because there are a lot of people right now, so it is my obligation to not stop the class. So sorry about that. Okay. So okay, so let me start with the business organization and their stakeholder. So this is the index that we are going to cover, like what is the business organization, what is the feature of the business organization, how business organization differ, and industrial commercial factors, like there is going to be sectors that a business organization operate, types of business organization. There's a commercial, not-for-profit, public sector, and I'll be covering each topic one by one. What is stakeholder and agency relationship? This is very interesting. This is which we are going to cover later on. Okay. So instead of going through the each index, let's jump to the subject itself. Okay. So this is basically a overview for you, like what the topics we are going to cover. First of all, we'll be covering the business organization, and then we'll have like what business organization have in common, why business organization exist, what basically makes an organization differ from the other one, what are the sectors in which business organization operate, and like types of business organization, what is the difference between a profit and non-profit organization, a public sector organization, limited company organization. So I'm not sure like whether you guys are familiar with these words, so I'll be basically helping you with those. And then what is a stakeholder, shareholder and stakeholder agency relationship, main stakeholder groups, all this stuff we'll be covering here. Okay, whether I started, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's start with this. So just a moment. Yeah. So basically, what is an organization? Actually, my PPT is open in another screen, so I'm not sure why I'm not able to share with you. So I'll be basically discussing this and covering them here also. So please don't mind it right now. I know that this shouldn't have been like this, but please mind it for this class only. I'm not sure like why it's not working right now. Okay. So let me tell you basically what is an organization. Organization is basically a common, basically a group of people with a common purpose. And the purpose is basically defined by an entity for which they work. Now, what does it mean? Basically, let's say I as an individual decide that I will be, trying to do a work on an individual basis. But what is the, how good that would be if I do it alone? Let's say I have to cut a tree. Okay, and after cutting the tree, I'll be making it into the woods and then basically going to the market and then selling to the people. That would require basically a lot of efforts at my end. But what if I split the task, like cutting the wood and then basically making it into the, grinding it to basically wood, and then basically transporting it, and then finally making it available to the market. So basically I transfer the responsibility to different individuals. So in that case, basically I not only reduces my task and also enhances my skill in one task. And basically there's a collective effort that everybody you know uh, achieves when we basically talk about it. So let me read a definition for you. Organization, basically a social arrangement which pursues collective goals, controls its own performance, and a boundary separating from its environment. A very difficult and very technical definition. So I don't think that you guys are getting yourself any understanding out of this. So basically, uh, what it wants to say. A social arrangement means when more than one individual basically gathers and they have a goal. Like in this case, like in my wood selling example, we have a goal of selling, making good woods available that are in jungle right now, and we have to reach to the city by selling it. So we have a goal and control its performance. By controlling the performance means basically splitting the task on individual basis, like who will be doing like cutting the wood, who will be basically transporting it, who will be basically selling it in the market. So that will be basically a different performance. And boundary separating it from the environment. So when I say boundary separating it from the environment, what does it mean is that there's an environment, like there's a market available, there's a government law that is available, then there is competitors that are available. So these are basically external forces, not an internal force. So when I say internal, something that I can control, like I can basically and decide like how many people will be there in my organization, like how many people will be there to manage the team. So these are some of the factors that I do, but they are factors that is outside the control of mine, like who will be my competitor, like what are the regulation, that is not under my control. So these are basically something that is outside my control, and that is basically what it means by boundary separating it from its environment. So no help. Okay. Common feature of organization are as follows. Okay. They pursue a variety of objective. Different people do different things or specialize in one activity. Organization are keen to achieve good performance, meeting or improving their standard. Document system and procedure and obtain output processes and input. Okay. Just a moment, huh? There's, I think, some questions. Could you please explain the environment point again? And okay, no worries, Aslan. Sure. Yeah, when I was saying what I was saying about the environment, what I mean by environment. See, there's going to be a model that we are going to cover later on, which is pestle analysis. Pestle analysis means basically political, economics, the technology, the social and demographic, and then there's a legal environment. So all this basically what it means is that these are some factors which is basically outside the control of the organization. So environment is something that an organization operates in. So let's say I'm an I think you guys have heard about the Elon Musk. So Elon Musk basically runs his business in terms of automobiles, and then there's a aeronautics, like the NASA project that he does for the rocket. So all that is basically his business, but the environment that he in which it operates, like the spaceship that he builds, is basically isn't in a very few competitors. Like Amazon is the only competitor for it, and the law that requires that it requires to follow is basically set up by the some government authority, like US government decides what laws it will be followed. So for the automobile industry, rivals for Tesla to compete with. But the technology that it involves is basically something that it has built on its own, and that is very unique. Like the car that drive itself, that no driver is required. So basically, these are and in the current environment, there are very few cars that can actually do that. Very few cars actually do the self-driving. So this is basically an environment that Elon Musk is right now doing. So this is basically different from the organization itself. The external environment is quite different, that it has many factors: technology, government, and many more. So basically, this is why this word is basically what it means is that this is going to be a separate boundary from its environment. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let me know in case I need to explain it further. Okay, I think development of yeah, this is actually quite difficult for me because my PPT is here and I'm actually just discussing these points with you. So this seems pretty vague for me. Okay, no worries. So what all organizations have in common? So organization basically pursue variety of objective and goal. Like this is when I say variety of objective, what do I mean by variety of objective? You have heard that businesses are there for earning profits, but actually earning profit is a very short term goal. When you say earning profit, this is only for a year, because profit is only for a year. But when you say wealth, that is basically a different objective, that is for a long term objective. And then basically, as a business, what do you contribute to the society? Whether you are just only about businesses, let's say whether you are creating enough employment, whether you are after creating employment, whether you are contributing to improve the society. So there are various objectives that a business pursue. It's not only individual objective. You can basically have a business, have its goal in terms of earning profit and maximization of shareholder wealth. I think you guys have heard this term or not, but maximization of shareholder wealth means basically increasing the share price of the company. And when does the share price of the company increases? It increases when basically company earns profit, also it is recognized by the public at large. It basically is in good line with the government in terms of complying law, file paying taxes, and it's also technologically advanced, is up to the market terms. So there are multiple goals. There's an ultimate goal of being surviving in the market, and also creating a basically share of the market for itself. But mostly what it has sub objectives for it. So that's why it pursues a variety of objective and goals. Now, as I mentioned earlier, different people do different thing or specializes in one activity. Actually, there was one very beautiful example that I prepared for you. So I'm just reading it from here, my PPT. But please, there is actually one good example in terms of how basically different people do different thing or specializes in one activity. So when basically we sell like a needle, like listen to this very carefully, like what is the process of making a needle? One person basically draws a wire, another person straightens in the wire. When basically there's a wire coil, you basically one basically draw the wire, like carrying it to the the production line, and then there's person who's basically straightening it. The third person basically cuts it. There's a third person involved which basically cuts it, and then there's a fourth person which basically makes it pointy. And then there's a fifth person who grinds. Basically there's a grinding machine that basically uses it to basically grind the the wire. And then consisting like this there's a five or more people, like as per the example that was given by like who is this good person, like Adam Smith, who's one of the major industrialists. Basically he points out like you involve 18 to 20 people, and only then you basically get a needle. Okay, so needle is basically a very complicated processes where basically each person requires to perform their task individually, and only then you basically get the final output. Now, if it is very small base, let's say a very when you start at a small level. When I say start at a small level, let's say I say now I'll start my business on my own. Okay, so in that case I'll be starting at my own, and in that case most of the things will be done by me. Let's say if you look at your corner shop. Okay, so I think there is going to be hardly any employee there, maybe one or two person, but mostly that will be done by the shopkeeper himself, like ordering all the goods, like basically arranging all the goods in the shop, and then basically selling it to people, and then basically keeping a record like who has paid in the cash, or basically who has taken on the on credit. Credit means basically you are not paying the cash today, you're deferring the payment later on, and you are just delivering the goods. So basically a lot of things that shopkeeper does on its own. But whereas when you do it on a large basis, then you'll require more people to come to help you. Like you'll not be able to manage all these things. Like once you level up, once you reach a point where you feel like I have to serve more people, a shopkeeper will be serving like a couple of people in that area only. But an organization, when it basically expands, it basically cover a lot of people, and in that case there's not going to be a single individual that will do on its own. So that way you'll require more individuals to be be in that organization. And also when you require multiple individuals to involve in your business, then some individuals will be doing some tasks on regular basis. Like some people will only be there to serve a particular task. Like in this case of the needle, there's always going to be a person who's good at delivery, delivering the wire. Like let's take a example from your own home. Like you all might be using LPG cylinder. Okay, so in the LPG cylinder, there is always going to be a person, like in my case, a person who basically delivers the LPG cylinder to our home is only one individual. Like we know now his name, is that this person is going to deliver the LPG cylinder. But in terms of filling the LPG cylinder, there will be a different person. So because the organization is so big, the transportation of the selling and the delivery of the LPG cylinder, this task is done at a very big level, and many people are involved in that. So people who are doing the task again and again, so they basically become specialized in one activity. And people who basically at smaller level, they basically do different things most of the time. So when you say different people do different things, what it means is that many individual will be basically at a smaller level doing the things by themselves. Or in case when individual start being part of a big organization, they start doing a special, they basically start becoming specializing. Like in my case, I'm a finance and accounting professional. So I've been doing my job like for 6 years, but I only do a piece of work for my like the organization that I'm involved in is a very big, and I only do a piece of work. So I am specialized at what I do, right? So this is basically different, basically understanding us what do you mean by specializing, and what do you mean by doing things when you are at small level. So you'll be doing multiple things when you're at small level, but you'll be doing many things when you'll be doing basically specializing when you'll be part of a larger organization. So I hope this line is clear. And let's move to the next. So organizations are keen to perform good performance and meeting the performance of their standard. This is again a very good point. This is basically related to this point. I hope, yeah, okay. So this is basically related to this point only. So when you are doing task at your own, so you'll be doing couple of things. So I'm not sure whether there is going to be a standard to achieve, like a target to achieve. Like just at the beginning of this class, I set a target for you guys. Okay, that after going through each classes, we'll be performing a task. We'll be basically setting a target for you to achieve before appearing for the exam. But similarly, when you are basically in the specialization, they are going to be standardization. Okay, I think this has wrongly uncleared. Okay, no worries. So basically there is going to be a specialization, and once there's a specialization, there are going to be standards. So standard means that, okay, let's say in case of LPG cylinder case, like say the person who delivers the LPG cylinder, because that person is responsible for delivering the LPG cylinder, so he covers, let's say, 20 houses in a day. So because he's doing that task for like many days, and now he's specialized in that, so day by day, let's say he now delivers, instead of 20, he now delivers 25 houses, right? Because he's now so good at his job that an average person who basically does their job may deliver like 20% in a day, he now can basically deliver 25 days. So basically he has created a standard there by improving performance, by being good at what he does, by being specialized what he does. So this basically creates an standardization, because organization involves multiple individuals and many individuals do their own tasks. So they basically improve the performance and as well as basically set a standard for themselves. So I hope this point is clear, right? Let me know in case you have any questions so far. So we have covered 3 points so far, and now this is again one of the very important point, like formal documentation system and procedures. So what organization makes interesting, that everything is mostly once you become a large organization, in terms of a shopkeeper example or small businesses, they are still less formal. There's a very less formalities. So I hope you are familiar with the word formal or informal. In case somebody doesn't know, let me know in the chat. Is there somebody who doesn't know this formal or informal, or should I explain it? I think nobody. Okay, I take it as a no. Okay. So when I say formal documentation, basically what does it mean? Formal documentation, system and procedure, an organization, professional. Roshan, what do you mean by professional? I didn't get it here. Anything? Okay, Vrinda, you want the environmental point again? Okay, I'll explain it. First, I'll cover this, and then I'll cover the formal is something that is professional. Yeah, you can say that this is professional. I can say yeah. Okay. I got it. Okay, yeah, you can say that that is professional. But let's talk about a peon job. So, do you consider it a professional job or an unprofessional job? Unprofessional. Okay. Well, I would say let's not go into the professional unprofessional, but let me introduce you for you that when let's say a peon does his work, he'll still require to adhere to some rules and regulations. Just focus on this. He's required to follow certain rules and regulation, like he'll be at what time he's basically coming to office, like what dress code he's going to wear. There's always going to be a dress code for each employee. Some of the, like in case of multinational company, there's not going to be a dress code, but even then you are supposed to follow certain ethics there. And there's going to be like what timing he leaves, okay, how many days he serves, like whether there will be holidays on Saturday, Sunday. So are you getting, like there's going to be some rules and regulations which they can explain. Okay, Sankalp, I'll explain the second and third point again. So basically let's first discuss this documented system and procedure, then I'll basically come to second and third point. So basically when I say rules and regulation, try and understand this. Like in this class itself, I'm supposed to serve you like 6 to 9. So do you think like right now the attire that I'm wearing, should I basically come into my, let's have a cool shirt and then let me teach you, and not even a professional language, but start the some very fancy words, some very cool dude type words which younger people talk. So will that be appropriate? And let's say what we are doing is basically recording these sessions. There's going to be there's going to be some let's say we are there's basically some deadlines that we have to meet. There's some basically some requirements that we have to follow. Okay, so these basically what it means is basically formal. Formal means basically you do not do what you basically do at the at your home. Just try to understand, when you go at somebody's place, you try to behave in certain manner. Those rules are not set to you, maybe your parents teach you, but those rules are not set to you by some person, but you still follow certain rules. Like you'll behave properly, you'll not talk rubbish, you'll basically be in a appropriate attire. So all these things are considered basically as a formal. And when you talk about an organization has certain rules and regulations, and whatever you say in organization, like we can, like let's say after this beside from this a call, let's say we meet each other at a private place. Okay, let's meet outside. So we'll have our conversation, we'll be very unofficial to each other. We'll be talking like buddies if we are of same age. But once we are in class, there's some formality, right? I am not supposed to say certain things to you, you are not supposed to say certain things to me. So this basically requires a formality. Now documentation and system and procedure, what does it mean? Is basically whatever is done in an organization, and especially at the large organization, this is basically documented. Like there's going to be emails. When in a corporate world, you're going to have a lot of emails when you have discussion. Let's say there's a deadline, and you don't just go to the person and say, okay, meet the deadline. Sometimes there's a documentation, like you just ask the person on email, okay, please do the needful, so that at least it is documented for you that you have said that thing to the person that is required to be said. So that in the in the upcoming time, he does not say, okay, when was this thing to ask of me, why you are just passing it on to me. So these things like that. So documentation is one of the most important thing. Like even in this class, like take the example of this class. In this class, what we are doing, we are taking session, and each day there will be an update like how many classes I have attended. So this is going to be documented for you. Okay, so this is very important, like understanding the formality, like system and procedures. There's going to be system and procedures for everything. Like let's say, let's talk about, let's say, there's a very funny example in a movie. Oh my god, I'm not sure how many of you watch it. So there's a very funny example during the code session that a person gives, that let's say you have an electricity problem, and most of you guys are from Mumbai, and what I know is that in Mumbai electricity basically is provided by Reliance Industry. So let's say if you have any electricity shortage, so you'll not go to like and basically Ambani's directly and say, okay, why the electricity, there is no electricity at my house. Definitely there is some procedures that you will basically call to the help desk for the electricity company, and then basically reaching out to them. So this basically, what does it mean by the system and procedures and documentation? I hope this point is clear. I'll just quickly cover this point and then getting back to the starting points. Yeah. Okay, thanks Roshan. Okay, so now most organization input, process, and material. Okay, this is very interesting. Let me ask you. We are doing a okay, do you know what is the difference between service and manufacturing sector? First of all, tell me, do you know what is the difference between service and manufacturing sector? Anyone?
Manufacturing sector
Yes.
deals
Okay.
with tangible goods, and
Okay.
service sector deals with intangible.
Nice example. Tangible is a very great example. So basically, what happens at a manufacturing and a service organization? Difference between them. What I'm doing right now is a service. I'm not selling you any good. There will be no delivery of goods at your home by the end of this class, except the books that you buy. Please don't consider that part of this. That is you separately buying it. But consider this, what I'm doing right now. I'm not selling you any good right now. I'm doing my service for basically you helping you understand, which we call it as a teaching. Let's say you go to a parlor. Many girls go to the parlor, or let's say you go to a gym. Many boys go to the gym. Okay. So like, please don't consider it like otherwise. The otherwise is also possible. So in that case, what do you do there? You're not taking anything once you complete your session of gym, or let's say of your parlor. You do not take anything with you at home. What you take it as an experience. Please carefully listen to this word. What you take it as an experience. So service industry basically is there to basically provide you service, which is something not tangible, which was rightly said by, I think, by I'm not sure. Yeah, like Pratiksha. I think Pratiksha said it well. So there's no basically tangibility of goods, right? And in terms of manufacturing, but in terms of manufacturing is always going to be something. Let's say laptop is basically what is required to manufacture a laptop. Like let's say laptop requires basically plastic, some chips, some basically batteries. All these are combined, and then basically a final output comes. So this is basically what it says, that organization basically obtain input, process, and then output. But this is basically similarly true for the service industry as well, what we are doing right now. But in the service industry, basically we'll be covering the service versus the manufacturing later on. But in the service industry, basically what happens, that input and processing happens at the same time, even the output itself. That is something that we will be discussing, so don't worry. But I just wanted to basically understand that organization, whether it's manufacturing or whether it's service, they both basically are simultaneously having an input, and then basically processing them, and finally providing output to the end consumer. So this is basically one of the common characteristics of an organization. Now let me know whether you have any doubt in terms of that. Like some of the students asked me to repeat these 3 points. So any other doubt other than this? Yeah, very well said. Like ownership of the service cannot be transferred. Like I mentioned, the ownership cannot be transferred because it is not tangible, but the experience can be transferred, right, Roshan? Do you agree? Yeah, trading business, like let's say in the trading business, depends, like you are definitely basically dealing in the goods, right? So when you are dealing in the goods, that basically makes it tangible. So you are going to buy the basically finished products. In the trading business, you are going to buy the finished products. So finished products are itself, so this process, let's say input. So there's no going to be processing. No, there is basically selling them, making it available to the end consumer is itself a process. So there is always going to be input, process, and output. Depends on what you define a process. And basically, let me tell you, there is some legal definition about process, and that is very complicated. So depends on what you define process. So that would depend, like when, as you mentioned, like trading business still have process. Input is there, output is there, but process, that would depend, like what do you define as a process. And definitely when you provide the goods to the ultimate consumer, that itself can be considered as a process. Okay, so any other doubt? Okay, I take it as a no, but I'll just third point again. Okay. Yeah, so what I meant by the basically good performance, and meeting and improvising the standard, like if you remember the second point, in second point what I said, some people will do the entire thing of business by themselves, or let's not say business, even in case of charity, even in case of cooperative societies, that we'll be discussing later. But even in those cases, let's say you take a task and you do it on your own. So do you become specialized? Let's say I'm right now teaching business and technology. Now, if I teach management and accounting, if I teach the finance accounting, if I also teach at the skill level, if I also teach at the professional level, and all the subjects, do you think there's going to be any specialization? Am I going to be good at all the subjects? No, I'm an individual. I'm a human being. I have a limitation to learn, right? I have a limitation to get expertise. In order to become expert, in order to be good at something, you have to do it. Like there's a very famous Bruce Lee's quote. I'm not afraid of person who has done 10,000 things. I'm afraid of a person who has practiced one thing at 10,000 times. I am not sure, like this sounds very cheesy, but I hope I'm not sure like whether you have heard it or not, but this is very famous quote by the Bruce Lee, and this is very relatable. If you basically, do a single thing again and again, you'll become specialized, whatever that is. You can be an observer and you can be an excellent observer. Like CBI people require very excellent observers. You can be, good at, cricket. Let's say people like I'm not sure, like cricket would be a good example for you guys, but let's go back to the class example. Like if I teach all the subjects, I'm not going to be good at any subject. I can assure you that. I can have an understanding, but I'm not going to be good at all the stuff. So in order to be, be perfect, I have to do one thing only. And if I focus my attention to one thing only, I'll be good at it. So when I say specialization and all this stuff, so just try to understand this like this, that okay, if I become good, so will I not be, setting a standard for everyone? Like if an individual who is not, perfect, if an individual who is not so, very good at it, like the way I am, so is he going to be there is very less chances of him, beating me. In that case, let's say I am teaching the subject for, let's say, 2 to 3 years, and I know the concepts very well. So if let's say a person starts tomorrow, so do you think will he be good, or will he be that good? Or let's say a person like in case of LPG cylinder, a person who's delivering the LPG cylinder for like 10 years. Now he knows every route, he knows every shortcut, he knows how to, manage inventory, he knows when people will be available and when people will not be available. Like he has a vague idea about that. I think somebody is on unmute. Webab, I think you are on unmute. Okay, I'm going to mute you. I think some disturbance coming there. Webab, do you want to say anything, or should I mute you? Okay, I think Webab is not there. Okay, so in case, please, if you want to say anything or if you want to ask anything, please raise your hand and keep that in chat box. I'm reading the chat box. No worries, Sankalp. I've asked, I've done then, so no worries. I'll do it myself. In case anybody faces this issue, no worries. Just keep in mind when you are basically in the class. So the mic is very sensitive. So in case you by mistake press it, so it will unmute. I think somebody has also unmuted themselves. Is there anybody else? Okay, I don't think. Okay, so where was I? So what I was saying is, like, if you basically become specialized at something, so definitely you'll be a good performer in comparison to somebody who's not specialized, right? And that's what organization do. Like, I gave you my example. Like, I have been in corporate for like 6 years, and I'm in finance and professional accounting, and I only do a piece of the entire organization. There is a business that it does. There is basically finance and recording processes, so I only do a piece, but I'm good at that piece. Why? Because I'm doing it continuously. So this is why what it basically means, that once an organization basically becomes, because it involves lot of people, lot of individual together, and lot of individual do their task only most of the time. So basically this basically creates a standard, and this also basically makes a good of a performance achiever. Hope this point is clear now. Anyone? Okay, I'm just moving it. I'm just crossing my finger that now my PPT is starting. Okay, why organization exists? Can anyone tell me? Why organization actually basically exist? It's still not working. So irritating. I promise this will not happen tomorrow. I'm not sure why it's happened. Some kind of, because yeah, yeah, within the, yeah, profit motive individual can be exist. There's no need to organize. You are going to share your profit. Why you want people to share your profit if you want to create an organization? Satisfy needs of society. Yeah, that's a, again, Roshan, a good point, but not the main point. Wider population. Let's take an example of YouTube, Vrinda. Then let's say YouTuber, there are many YouTubers. I think you guys are familiar with the YouTube. I don't think so. So basically the individuals have a wider reach to work together. Nice point, Vidisha. Work together. Okay, provide the service. They can also manufacture goods in order to achieve organization. What is organizational goals? Okay, who said that? Yeah, Khyati, can you write, like, can you confirm what is the organization goal? Because we are not talking about right now what is the organization goal. Provide convenience to consumer. You guys are basically, when you are answering, I'm pointing one, I'm noticing one thing, that you guys are, thinking in a point like very saint manner. Like, okay, organization is there to share the profit, to basically achieve organization goal, to for the convenience of consumer. So I think what you want to say, let me help you. What you are saying, the way you're saying is not basically passing on the message, but I'm guessing an idea that what you mean. Okay, growth, yeah, one of the ways, but things be more productive. Yeah, Vrinda, that's a very good point. Yeah, better and more productive together. Yeah, that's a very good point. So let me tell you what Vrinda said. So she actually pointed out, like, manage things better and be more productive together. That's a very good point. Yeah, Divyam, did you message before? I don't think I don't see your message, Divyam, before. So in case you have, say, want to ask something, so you can message again. Less, yeah, that's also a good point, Vinisha. Like, less workload on an individual alone. Yeah, that's a very good point. Specialize in producing, yeah, specialization, do not overemphasize, but yeah, specialization basically what organization creates when it becomes large. Like I mentioned, there is small organizations also, and most of the things are done by themselves. Like small family businesses, they are done by individuals themselves, and most of the things they manage. Okay, so yeah, specialization is point. So that's a good point, that most of you later on actually tell very good points. So you have pointed out some of the good things that I actually wanted to understand. So you have a clear idea, like, yeah, they want to basically get the benefit, like the synergy benefit. I have not introduced this word before. Synergy benefit. When I, as an individual, you as an individual, do a task individually. Let's talk about painting a wall. Okay, you are painting your wall, I'm painting my wall, and we have, we both have been hired by a person. Okay, I'm giving you 10,000, I'm giving you 10,000, and you both do your walls, and at the end of the day I want a wall to be painted. Okay, but I'm not that good at painting the wall, but you are. Okay, you are really good at painting the wall. And in that case, but I'm actually good at understanding the colors, like how to mix the colors, what what will basically look good, and basically how to mix things. Like this is the process, I think you guys may know. So basically I'm good at thing, and basically you are good at something. So what we can do is that, okay, let's do things that I'm going to do the all the mixture of colors, like what is going to be the best combination, and you do the painting because you are good at that. And that way the ultimate product that we achieve, by when the person who has hired us at the end of the day sees the wall, he'll be surprised, he'll be amazed, because the way the wall has been painted, because of my efforts and because of the efforts that the person, because of your efforts that you have combined. So we have created something that individually we were not able to do. So we have combined our power, and this is what synergy means, that as an individual 1 + 1 will be 2, but with the synergy the effect would be really great. That the effect will not be only 1 + 1 is equal to 2, but the effect would be 1 + 1 is equal to 3. Like this is what synergy does. So basically organization, when they collect the individual together, when they group the individual together, and then they basically create the standard performances, then the task that at their hand basically achieves more, basically they achieve the task in a better way, and the ultimate result basically creates a yeah, that's a very good point. So individual is difficult to execute all the goals. Yeah, that's a very good point. Organized form in order to achieve goals which an individual cannot achieve alone. Again, very well said. Yeah, this is basically what synergy benefit means. So you'll see that like when you will be reading finance or things, you'll be seeing like why organization acquire another organization just to create a synergy benefit. Same goal cannot pursued individually. No, I think Soumya, you have misunderstood this. Number of individual with same goal that can't be pursued individually. They can be pursued individually, but they can be performed better when combined together. That actually creates synergy benefit. Let's say I start selling goods and basically try to cover the market. Individually, I will not be able to cover a larger market, though I'll be still covering basically capturing a piece, but I'll not be covering a larger piece. So what individual does together, they basically covers a larger piece, and that's what organization is about, covering the larger piece. I hope that's clear. More they have more idea. Yep. Right. Very well. Everybody pointed. Economic growth, solve problems in a small time. I think that's very employment, economic growth. That's a very high term thing. That's basically what running a business means. It's not what organization. This is basically running a business means. Shivraj, what you have pointed is basically running a business. Efforts and teamwork, right? So I am really happy to see that you guys are actually going in the right direction, more or less. But yeah, that's these are very good points. So I think we have already done this activity. So do you want to add something else here, or we are good with this? How to uncolor this? I remember this could be cleared. I'm not sure why it's not getting here. Okay, any more point? Yeah, this is, yeah, okay. Making the best use of each other expertise to achieve. Yeah, that's very well said, Brenda. So organization can achieve results. I think we have already covered most of the points. So this was the activity, like was as an organization what we can achieve. So in case you want to feel like you can add something, so I'm ready to listen. Otherwise we'll move to the next topic. Okay, sure, Roshan. I hope till now things are getting cleared. I hope I'm not rushing things. Let me know in case you feel that I'm rushing things. I just want topics to be covered clearly. It should be clear to you, like what we are covering and how much we are covering, right? We have to cover, but we shouldn't rush it. No, it's a good place. Okay, thanks, Roshan. Okay. Let me know otherwise in case anybody feels that. Okay. Sector in which business organization operate. Okay, this is basically a very simple understanding, and you should be aware about it. This is basically very important for you to understand. In my PPT, I did not cover this way, but this is frustrating actually. Actually, what happened, let me tell you, actually some technical glitch actually happened today, which is why I'm not able to use my Microsoft right now. Otherwise, I would not be actually looking at it here. So something actually technical glitch here. So I'll be covering it tomorrow. But here, actually, I have separate laptop, and there is PPT going on. So this is actually very, upsetting for me that I'm not able to share that with you. Yeah, actually, we have been running for like 2 hours. So let me know before starting the next topic. Should we actually cover this point or should we take a break? Because so far we have not covered much. We have just started it. So let me know if you want a break. We after covering this point, just I'll just give a brief about it and then we'll cover. And this is not going to take a long time. I'm just going to give you an understanding and then we'll continue. Yeah. Okay, so just 10 minutes. Just I'm asking you 10 minutes and then we'll take a break. Because see, I want you to sit for at least 2 hours, because 2 hours has not happened yet. For the first 10-20 minutes we took yeah, I know. Preksha, we just 10 minutes more. I just want you to go through the entire 2 hour, because you must know the pain to sitting 2 hours at least. So only then basically that will actually help you, be basically creating a practice out of it. So sorry about that, Preksha, but we'll try to take a break after this. Okay. Sectors in which business organization. So just understand the word. When I say organization and when I say business organization, these are two different things. Organization can be anything. So we'll be discussing later on just what does organization means. And this is a business organization. So business organization, basically that's there to earn profit, that's there to do the business, whether they are going to do a business that only aims to earn profit, or whether there's going to be a business that has a more goal, like a wider goal. So that will be actually have to see case to case. But business organization basically means something that an economic activity goes on. Okay. So many organization work in many different business sectors. Okay. So okay. Just let me keep it a band. Can you name me a couple of sectors that you guys know? I know you have already seen the screen, but can you tell me a couple of sectors that you guys know? I just want to know whether just after 12th or after, and when you're undergrad, so do you know what are the sectors and what are the business sectors? Public, private, service. Okay. Manufacturing. Okay.
There are three sectors: agriculture, secondary, then tertiary sector.
Telecommunication. Yeah. Pratiksha, you can also write, because but yeah, very well pointed out. But actually you just started suddenly speaking, so I just got a little scared. So no, yeah, but actually good point there. So some actually good points coming. Manufacturing, commercial. Yeah, what is commercial and what is non-commercial we'll be discussing later on. Service, manufacturing, yeah. Agriculture, actually that was on the screen. Manufacturing sector, agriculture, telecommunication. Nice point. Primary, secondary. Okay. I think what you are saying. Mining. Okay. Tertiary. Okay. Nice. Extraction. Yeah, I think some of you are actually basically pointing out the businesses, right? Finance sector. Okay. Nice. So let me just think. Banking sector. I think what you mean by banking sector is banking sector, right? IT, infra, e-commerce. Yeah, very well pointed. Nice. Okay, I hope you guys are not cheating from the book, because I have skipped the book, but I hope you guys are using your mind, because that is what is required here. What I'm trying to do is trying to make it more engaging. And yeah, now, okay, now the student is so inspired that they have written multiple industries together. So now that's very well pointed, like nice. Coal, crude oil, natural gas. Actually, this is basically belong to a certain industry. That's a power energy sector actually that you are pointing out right now. By okay, there's a fertilizer. Okay. Nice. Steel, cement, and electricity. Yeah. Actually, now you have actually started showing your skills. Nice using your mind. Okay, nice. So basically, as government sector, nice. Yeah, government sector is there's a sector. So actually, what I mean by sector is basically in industry. There's a telecom industry, Telecom industry, basically the mobile phone that you're using, the internet that you're using. There's an aviation industry. Aviation industry basically means the aeroplanes that you see in the sky. I expect some of you, like some of you have basically used airplanes in their life, like travel by a plane. So there's an aviation industry. There's aerospace industry. Like this is somewhat similar to aviation. Aerospace is basically the rockets and all that stuff that we know Mr. Elon Musk for. And then there is automobiles. I think in India that you may know about Ratan Tata sir, who's basically the tycoon of automobile industry. And then there is finance. Finance is basically very widely spread. Like finance industry is very widely spread. And you know, finance, funny thing about finance industry is it's always going to be a business expense for someone. But there are like, yeah, no, actually in finance industry also there is actually boom. Now you know about shares market. I think you guys, anyone who doesn't know what is share market, like the mutual fund or all that stuff, investment type. There's a banking sector, there's a banking industry. Actually the money that you deposit, the money that you pay to us, the money that you spend, that is goes into account, that is a banking industry. So there are various industry. Capital market, security, yeah, very well. Yeah, I think Roshan, you are right now actually making very good points. Yeah, capital market, securities market, right. I think these are part of the some of the, like, I think in the once you complete your schooling, so there was some subject like business and accounting. So I expect you to know some of them, but no worries, we'll be covering. And you know, in the book they have given a very, you know, briefing. Like these are not an exhaustive list. When I say exhaustive list, this is not a limited industry. There are many industries. And you know, when you combine multiple industry together, that basically creates an economy. Economy is what? You go and, you know, deposit your money in a bank. Bank basically lends it further to a borrower, and then it basically earns the interest. The person who basically borrows the money basically start his business with that borrowed money, and then selling the product to the consumer, and basically gives salary to his employee. And basically this basically an economy activity. The person who basically buys the product uses it into his, you know, into his business. And let's say in a service industry, let's say the person is buying some what can I give an example of service industry? Let's say barber. A barber basically buys like all the equipment that he needs for the shop, and basically he uses in his business. That's basically creating another industry for itself. And then the person who takes the treatment of barber is an actor, and then basically creates another industry for the, you know, Bollywood. I think you guys know. So these industries are basically basically working simultaneously, and some are also connected to each other. And when you basically combine all these industry together, you basically create an economy. So this is basically what it means, is like each industry basically working on its own and basically creating an impact. Like it can be also at national level, also at an international level. So this is basically what having multiple industry means. Okay, so here when we say sector, so we have just given example of what each sector does. Like I hope you guys know agriculture. Like in India, still after, you know, 2020, in 2023, we have a major portion in our GDP for agriculture. I hope you understand the word GDP. Those who don't know, please let me know. GDP is basically our national income for a country like India. National income, GDP. So agriculture is still yeah, it's a full form, but do you know what does it mean? What does it mean? So basically agriculture is still a very big industry for us. It's a very big sector for us. Agriculture, we are still dependent on our agriculture for generating income, for generating basically economic activity. There's a manufacturing sector. Like in terms of like if I talk about like multinational basis, China is the hub of manufacturing hub. Now I'm not sure like what are your sentiments about China, but China is the manufacturing hub of the world right now. Even far from US, is still ahead of US. but there's a reason about that we can discuss later on. That's a separate topic. But there's like some countries are good at like manufacturing, like our country like us are basically good at service. We are basically, India is the leader in the service industry. Do you know about that? We are basically leader of the service. The way the service sector, our service sector is basically best in the world. We dominate in the service industry. And then there's extractive raw material. Somebody actually pointed this is basically mining and extracting. Do you know what we do for mining? Why do we do mining? Anyone can point out? Like somebody actually mentioned these things like extracting. See, what I want is when you read a thing, you just don't, you just don't repeat the words, you actually understand. Like somebody mentioned gross domestic product. Okay, I understand that you know the full form, but do you know what it means? Because you have to have it for extracting raw material from, yeah, very well pointed, like very well pointed, for extracting raw materials from the nature. Rightly said. Raw material could be anything, oil, like diamonds, like minerals that you require to process, like I think you might know about the batteries. That is also extract, like the input that is used for manufacturing the battery is actually also extracted from mining. Yeah, gold, iron, very well pointed. Right. So basically, I just want, when you study the business, you don't just repeat the words, you actually understand what does they mean. And that's actually important. Just few more points we are going to cover, and then I think we are going to take a break. Okay. Extracting raw material, energy. I think somebody actually given me a list of energy sector, and in case you don't know, so let me just make you clearly understand. Like we get this, like we are working on an online platform, and this online platform is require internet, and that internet basically runs on electricity. This laptop is running on electricity. We have a, like I in earlier I just gave an example of LPG. We need LPG to help cook us food. That is basically energy. So anything, even this I think you have heard about solar panels that basically some people install on their roof to have the electricity to them. There's oil, the petrol that government and the media really talk about. People like to talk about petrol a lot, because this is basically need, a day-to-day need, because they need the petrol, oil, all that stuff, either for cooking or for for transportation purposes. Transportation is itself a very important sector in it. Like railways is one of the key player in our transportation system. So energy is a very important sector. So I hope you understand. In case anybody, yeah, coal also. Yeah, definitely coal. Alkaline. Okay. Petroleum. You guys are actually amazing me. How much do you know? What is the difference between manufacturing and energy sector? Yeah, the basic difference is, see, do you know, let me say, manufacturing is something when you basically produce something. Producing, basically you let's say take an example of battery. That's basically manufacturing the battery out of it. But do you actually require some inputs for manufacturing the battery. Now a manufacturing sector basically can come under the energy sector umbrella. Are you getting my point? But not necessarily all energy sector belongs to manufacturing. Let me give you an example. Like oil, coal, you know that this actually is an energy sector. But there are companies in our India that actually distributes the oil. That has nothing to do with basically extracting the oil. There is a proper supply chain, and this is a very important word, supply chain. We'll be covering later on in the later chapters. Supply chain. Supply chain is basically a chain of supply. Like supply, once you start extracting the oil, then you pass it on for distributing it to multiple people. Like OPEC. I would not say OPEC. OPEC is basically a group, a consortium, but this is different. So try to understand. Energy sector is basically all about like the electricity, coal, oil, but manufacturing is something that basically you produce. So as I mentioned, that distributing oil is itself done by many companies. Like Reliance is one of the major player in distributing oil. Indian Oil is also a distributor of oil, not only manufacturer. So there are multiple processes in a single sector. So energy basically covers an entire umbrella, and manufacturing is just one of the components. But manufacturing is also, in another places, like another sectors also. So manufacturing means creating a fully made goods from raw material. Yeah, rightly said, Sankalp, rightly said. So manufacturing means creating a fully made goods from a raw material. So hope this is clear, like what is the difference between energy sector and manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector is basically a part of energy sector. A manufacturing sector basically can be part of many other sectors as well. Okay. Hope you are clear. Okay, retail and distributing, like somebody mentioned, like what about the retail and distributing? So again, this is itself a sector. So fun fact, do you guys know about the uh, we had a phone, very popular phone, I'm just not able to recall, like Micromax, right, Micromax. Do you guys remember Micromax? Okay, little bit, no worries. Micromax basically was an Indian based company who was basically uh, selling the phone. Now, would you be surprised to know that Micro was not a manufacturing company? Micro was not manufacturing Micromax phones. And actually the reason for Micromax fall was actually it was not manufacturing phones. That actually led to the problem. What happened, let me tell you about the Micromax actually buying the phones from the China. They actually saw that they actually rebranded it. There is a process that once you buy from an outside country like China, and then basically once it gets in your country, you basically rebrand it with your name. That is itself basically a particular many products that that you might be thinking, okay, it's made in India, actually is not. Basically what happens, it's made outside the country, they actually import it and then rebrand it in their name. So and actually that is also that is actually true for the many goods that are exported, that some people might be coming from out of the country, and they're saying this jacket is from Singapore, this jacket is from USA. Do you know, sometimes the person is not aware that the goods actually is manufactured in the India and then exported to the USA, and they rebranded it in the name of USA. This is a very common practice. So retailing and distribution is basically delivering goods to the end consumer. So this basically a very interesting point I wanted to point out, that there's a industry that actually only buys the good and distribute it in the name of manufacturing. And actually they do not say manufacturing, but they create an impression that they were actually manufacturing. So how many of you actually knew that Micromax was a distributor and not a manufacturer? Okay, no one. Now I know. Okay, very well said, Divya. Now you know. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Actually, in case you don't know, that's okay. It was a fun fact, but other than that, in case just understand this thing, just which I want to discuss with you. In case you don't know anything and you find it very basic, so don't be afraid. Don't afraid to ask, because only if you ask, only then I'll be able to tell. Okay. So if there is anything that you find, okay, I might sound stupid, asking it, don't be afraid, at least not with me. If you want, to clear your concepts, please, be as blunt as possible, so that I can clear your concepts. Because the day is the day you don't stop asking in afraid of being stupid. So please ask questions so that I can help you understand them, and the day is itself good enough. You don't need to know something like 10 years ago. It's completely okay to know anything any day. Okay, so enough with this all. So I think we have exceeded the time. So let's take a small break, because the other two industries, service industry, I think we have talked in detail already. But I'll be covering the information technology. So let's take a 10 minutes break. How about that? Or do you want it to be 15 minutes? Let me know. We are just taking a break. 10 minutes enough. Okay. So right now it's 8:15. Let's meet at 8:25, and we'll be trying to cover as much as possible. And for again, I'm really sorry about the PPT issue. It shouldn't have happened, but things sometimes don't happen the way you want them. So tomorrow I'll promise that it won't happen. So please, let's have a break for 10 minutes and let's meet at 8:25. Okay. It's 8:15 now. All right. So everyone back. I think few participants are missing. Let's wait. I think everyone. Not sure whether. Hello. So I've received first hi. Yes. Hello. Hello. Welcome back. So let's chat for 1 more minute. So how was your first 2 hours and 10 minutes straight into your first class? How did you feel? Did you enjoy it or did you started cursing me after the break? Great. Oh, nice. Harshita, I think you are on unmute. So you want to say something? Okay. Nobody, you can. It was great. Thanks. Found it interesting. Excited for my. Yeah, sure, sure. I'm also excited. See, true. To be honest, I'm also excited to, let's see how it things goes because I find it exciting, talking to people, finding it, engaging and learning about them, understanding like whether, I'm teaching it in a right manner. So I find it exciting as well. Sharing knowledge is something that I find it really fancy. And that's why I wanted to do teaching. So I guess we are missing a couple of folks, but I think given the importance of time, so let's start. And there is a good news that my PPT finally started working. Almost after waiting for 2 hours. Okay, somebody else. Yeah, I wish I could tell. I wish I could tell. Actually, I have discussed this thing with my HR, like the HR in my company, like what, because this is something that I'm doing during the weekends. So I discussed it with my HR, like whether I can mention. So they have advised me not to. So you can just to let you know, I am currently working in a multinational company, and it is based in France. Its head office in France, and it's a big company. That's all I can tell right now. And actually, honestly, I gained benefit after doing ACCA. And there is a term called onshore offshore. So I'm not sure whether you guys are familiar with it. So on my own, let's say a company has a head office, so the country's boundaries for it is onshore, and anything outside its country boundary is offshore. So we are offshore to those people on the onshore because the company is based in France. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, basically, seriously, it was fun, intense, sometimes very, I'll be honest, sometimes it was frustrating, sometimes it was very difficult, but overall, like 60-70% time, it was really great. It was really great because learning a new professional degree, I thought, CA, it would be very similar to CA, but when I actually entered in this course, I found it like this has a very different approach. Like, this is not generalizing anything, but there is very common thing in India that we try to memorize. We focus most on thing. There are less job opportunity in ACS compared to, see Preksha, that depends. Like, if you ask me, like I was about to tell, like in my company, I was talking about onshore team, like the people who work in different countries, because we are part of one company. So I have to talk to multiple people, like multiple folks, like from France or from basically Switzerland, Dublin, Le Mans. So these are part of Europe. So I have to talk like a lot of folks there, and there is a head on the onshore team, like a very high level management, and they actually emphasize doing on ACCA. Even if you have heard like big four companies, EY, Deloitte, they also emphasize on uh, basically ACCA. They emphasize right now ACCA at its boom right now. That I can assure you. ACCA's demand is increasing day by day, and because as you know that the subject that we study here is similar to what we study in CA, so that's why the sometimes CA can work for ACCA, sometimes ACCA can work for CA, but that depends whether that relates to the degree specific, like practice. Practice cannot, ACCA cannot do practice in India. Company offer job to affiliate. Once you have a degree, once you have quite experience, they'll offer you. Let's say you have cleared your ACCA, you are a fresher, you'll get the same salary as you get, as a chartered accountant gets as a fresher. So if you both are fresher, you'll both be considered, equivalent. That I can assure you. So, but that depends on the specific job. Let's say sometimes big four, I'm not sure why do they do it, but sometimes they ask, okay, the people who have cleared in the first attempt, people who have cleared this attempt only. So sometimes they pose this different some strange requirements, which I'm not very fond of. And I have some colleagues and they have worked in EY and they also don't find it very comfortable. Like, why do you want people to have certain attempts? Though I understand like there should be a limit, like after 3 to 4, yeah, definitely. But I'm not sure like why first attempt. I'm not sure. But in terms of offering job, like MNCs will definitely offer you, and any MNC you name that basically is based in US or UK, they'll definitely offer you. So don't worry about that. But yeah, Indian companies, let's say Reliance, ITC, TCS, or any company that is based in India, that will prefer a CA over ACCA. Why? Because the first of all, the requirement could be related to audit, and audit is basically a subjective thing in India for CAs. Exemptions, yeah, I'll talk about it. Like, exemption has an impact. Basically, if you have an exemption, I think you should take it. You shouldn't wait for like, okay, I will first create my concepts only, then I'll reach you to the next level. I don't think that you should do. You should take the benefit of exemption. I hope that that there is some fees involved there, but there is some basically, I think you should take exemption, because in the next level, even your concepts are not there, you should basically clear those concepts. You can clear in case, let's say you have an exemption at this level, but still there is a possibility that you can clear. But yeah, that the person who has cleared the his basics at this level will basically at an advantage, but you can cover up that advantage. But that would depend on your entire effort. Okay, percentage matter to get a job. Paper percentage, they see percentage, or they see only no. See, when you talk about percentage, the moment you get cleared, there is no requirement. Like, this is a good thing that you show on a CV, that like say I'm in rank holder and all that, but this actually gives me an advantage, but that does not assures my job. If you ask me like, okay, how about you are in rank holder, so is it easy for you? You are get like companies are reaching out for your job? No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. Real world doesn't work like that. You have to put efforts. There has to be an opportunity. Only then you'll be able to get something. Okay, this is not something that, okay, you'll score high and then okay, you'll be able to getting the job easily. No, it's not that. Showing percentage, like how many percent, how much percentage you have obtained, or whether there is an achievement, yeah, that actually is a additional benefit, but this is not entirely thing. Okay, but I have taken coaching of that exam. Yeah, no worries. Basically, as I said, this is basically clearing your concept. What I said earlier is like, if you have taken a coaching and this is an exemption, no worries, it will still benefit you. I'm not just generalizing. It is actually true. This is going to help you because the concept that is there is actually going to discuss at different level, and ACCA wants you to understand this concept clearly. No, like as I mentioned, you cannot practice in India, but you can practice in UK, Ireland. There are countries that actually accept the ACCA degree, so you can practice there. Even some of my friends, when I was doing ACCA, is currently in UK, and some of them are in Ireland. So they actually did ACCA because their employment was asking, because they needed somebody as an ACCA member. So some people definitely do. So there's a opportunity outside also. So like CA practice, yeah, as I mentioned, this is outside country. This not in India. You cannot. In India, you cannot. Okay, so I think this is enough. Let's get back to the main thing that we are here for. Hopefully, I think your questions are clear, right? So let's get back to the studies. So as we discussed, we had discussed a couple of sectors. Now information technology. See, we are done with this, but I just want to clear with this. Now service industry, we actually covered a couple of things. Like I mainly post you an example of barber, beautician, or gym, but there are other industries. Like banking industry is also considered service industry. Banking is providing you a service of money. If you understand it, it's a very interesting thing. Banking is basically about providing service of money. You're not getting anything. When you get the money, you basically spend it somewhere, right? You do not keep, you take a money, you borrow money, and then you keep it in your account. No, you actually spend it somewhere. So you are basically using a time frame. Basically, you do not have money today, so you basically use it, that you basically borrow today and pay it tomorrow. So the income that you have tomorrow, that you have not generated today, but the income that you have tomorrow, you'll get it later on. So that's why banking is kind of a service industry. That is very interesting to notice. If you notice it, that banking is actually service industry, and not a trading or basically a manufacturing industry. It's a basis service industry. There's accountancy. You are about to be an accounting professional, finance professional. Let's see whether what you do. How brokers are into service. Brokers are many people. Like there's an insurance broker who basically tries to underwrite your insurance. Basically providing you service. Stockbroker, so stockbroker is basically providing your platform. See, in the SEBI, if you know that SEBI, there is a ring, like um I am forgetting words. Okay, so there's NSC and there's BSC. So these are stock markets. What is stock market? Stock market is a place where people actually come to buy and sell share. Now, actually, what happens that normal individual, you and people like you and me are not allowed to go there. But it is a place to trade for shares. So how do we go about it? So brokers are licensed individuals who can actually basically go and trade in the stock market. So they actually provides us this platform where, like, if you know about Zerodha, Upstock, or basically you know about Edelweiss, these companies actually provide you a service which consider share product. We can consider share as a product or not. Basically depends. Share is definitely a product. Shares are definitely a product. You basically invest your money, you get a certificate of share, so definitely it's a product. But and it's also tradable. Shares are also tradable, so it's definitely a product. So what I was saying, that stockbroker is actually why stockbrokers are service market, because what stockbroker does is basically provides your platform. It provides your service that you can do the trade, and he will help you trading that. So, and that's why he charges you commission whenever you buy or sell. Those people who don't know, don't worry, we'll be covering that. But just people who do the share trading, they actually know that when they open account with Zerodha or like Upstock or like Edelweiss or like Sher Khan, I don't think Sher Khan is now old. So basically they basically open account like a bank, and then basically what happens, they receive they basically pay their money for buying share. And whenever there is a transaction like demat account, yeah, demat account is basically for holding the share. Demat account is for holding share. Trading account is different. So these are two different things. These are very technical terms, so I'll be discussing them whenever we have time for this. We do not have basically share trading concept in this, but I'm just explaining you just for the sake of understanding what is a service industry, because this is important. So basically, when you provide when you basically put the money in their account and they buy share for you, so in order to buy that share for you, they charge a commission. That is a broker commission. Why? Because they are providing you a service of buying stuff, selling stuff on your behalf, because you cannot do it on your own. Is SEBI does not allow to any individual to trade on individual stock exchange like NSE or BSE. So I think I've said so many jargon words right now, and many of you are feeling, okay, what is SEBI, what is NSE, BSE, or let's say what is trading. So don't worry, we'll be covering like I try to cover many industry already. So in case we get time, we'll definitely cover. But since this is not a part of your syllabus, so that's why I'm not going in depth detail. Hope that is clear now, Shivraj, why stockbroker is a service, right? I'm not getting an answer, so I'm taking it as a yes. Okay. So now types of business. So I'll just quickly switch to my PPT. Please work this time. Yeah, now it's working. I think products doesn't belong to them. They merely provide services regarding them. Yeah. Right, Shivraj. Okay, so finally my PPT works. So far, don't worry. We have not done anything that is not here. Please work. This is the chapter, and this was the index that I have just done for you, just in case you need to refer, because I was trying to prepare the notes the way you don't need to refer a couple of things, but you should. But as a student, you should you try to cover as much as possible, because the BPP tries to give you a language that you can familiarize yourself, because this is a professional language. This is not a very this is a very simple language that I have written, but the language that BPP uses is very simple. But sometimes what happens is that it becomes difficult to understand all these jargons, right? So that is why you can refer both, and I'll tell you a trick that you do not spend time and it doesn't become difficult to manage both things. Okay, so types of business organization is just this pop-up that actually irritates me. The index, actually this was the thing that I was actually trying to show, like organization, a group of people with a community of purpose and all that I was just discussing, and about like how large organization is difference development. We have just covered this, don't worry. Purpose of organization, the example that I was trying to give you earlier. Sorry about this. And what are all organization type? Like we just discussed about the pointer that we had, and then refer the activity one. Okay, so this was don't worry, we were just covering what there is a book and some additional content that I was trying, and that actually I spoke to you. So I'll be sharing this PPT with you. So how organization differ, and this is actually the point, the next point, types of business organization. So as I was mentioning earlier, if you guys noticed that the organization can be any type, like they can be business organization. And mostly a business organization is normally going to be commercial. Like somebody mentioned commercial word earlier. I don't remember who, but somebody actually pointed out like there's a commercial organization when I was actually talking about sector. So there's a commercial organization, not for profit. How many of you actually done their not for profit or accounting in the 12th standard? So I think those of you may know about it. What is not for profit? I've done. Yeah, Roshan. So it was deleted. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I've done. So I deleted chapter. Okay. This year this app they have deleted. Okay, basically makes sense right now if they have done so. Basically, reason is that there's a very less demand for not-for-profit organization. Like there are big organizations for not-for-profit that works, but right now what is happening is that there's the way they have deleted it is basically making sense, because they want people to, like I said earlier, like ACCA does not try to give you a 10-year-old concept and then try to teach you over and over again. It tries to keep itself, and that's what I think Indian education system is trying to do. It's right with this. So no worries, not for profit organization is something that is not for profit. Like commercial organization is only aimed to profit. Like I buy something at 10 and I try to sell it 12, so I make a profit of 2. But not for profit organization are not basically something like that. I'll be discussing. I'm just right now discussing pointers, because now I'll be jumping to my PPT. So this public sector, something just a very quick thing, something that is owned by government. something that is owned by government is basically public sector. Very simple word. Now, why something government owns something? That is something we need to discuss. Charities, I think this will be part of this. I'm not sure like why they have pointed out separately. Charities is basically okay. I think I get it. Why they have basically said not for profit and charities. Sometimes charities are different from not for profit. I'll try to point it out, but I don't think that this is necessary here. But I'll try. Trade unions, very important one. There is an organization of trade unions. Do you know they are trade unions of basically labors? Yeah, not for profit is basically part of donation. Yeah, donation is part of the activity of not for profit. Donate like not for profit. Like we'll be discussing like how not for profit organization basically get finance, because commercial organization are basically very easily. This basically makes sense like how commercial organization makes finance. I put a 1 lakh rupee. Let's say in Indian terms, I put a 1 lakh rupee into the business, and then I start generating the money out of it, and then it refinances itself. But in case of not for profit, let's say I introducing 1 lakh rupee, then that 1 lakh rupee will not basically recover. Yeah, there's a very slight difference. Like government sector and public sector, there's a slider. Subscription is basically something that only members, Preksha basically members basically provide the subscription. There is a difference between subscription and the donation. So we'll be discussing that. Don't worry. Trade union is basically, let me give you a very interesting example. Do you know, if they are those people who are into the stock markets, they know that the Tata Motors is a competitor of Maruti Suzuki in India. I'm giving an example of India. Or let's say, let me give you an example in case you don't know Indian companies. Ferrari, I think there was one recent movie also. Ferrari and Ford, they are competitors. Now, what happens? Let's say Ferrari is a manufacturing unit, right? So it has laborers and all that people that actually are involved in manufacturing the car. Let's say there's a strike in the Ferrari. Strike means that labor, the people who are working there have said, okay, we are not doing work. First, fulfill our we'll discuss like whether it's 51% or not. Let's first focus on this. I'll tell you about what is government sector. I'm just giving you a brief introduction about trade union. This is important. Please try to pay attention. So if the worker of the Ferrari unit, or let's say worker of the Maruti Suzuki unit says, no, not Maruti. Actually, this is actually a case that the worker of the Tata Motors actually say that, okay, we are not going to work. We are going on strike. And why? Let's say they have thousands of employees. These big organizations have thousands and lakhs of employees. Sometimes even in my organization, there's a lack of employees. So big organization have so many people. And let's say people, if one individual say, okay, I'll not work. If I say tomorrow that I'll not work, so they'll fire me and replace somebody. But let's say if tens of thousands of people together say, okay, we are going on strike, then actually it makes interesting. And that actually people deciding collectively, okay, we are not going to work. Please fulfill our demand. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with this word. Like this is in many Hindi movies. Like first fulfill our demand. Only then we'll work. This is very very old school thing that Indian movie shows. So I'm not sure whether you are familiar with this, but there is a trade union, and let's say the trade union decides to go on strike in Ferrari. So that will actually indirectly benefit the Ford, or let's say the labor of the Tata Motor actually decide to go on the strike. That will definitely help to the Maruti Suzuki, because the Tata's labor is not working. They are not able to manufacture the car. Now the Maruti will try to capture the market. And it is very important to understand, once your competitor meets the demand and capture the market, you are going to be in a great trouble, because you are very difficult to recapture the market. So trade union is a very important concept that we have to understand. Not only from trade union itself, we are not going to be part of labor and go on a strike, but in terms of for the business, like how important for a business to understand the trade union. This is very interesting. Local authorities, like I'm not sure, like in case of Mumbai, I think there's a BMC. In Delhi, this is MCD. So Shivraj, can you point out, like, is there any municipal corporation in Nepal, like any name? I just want to, I'm just curious about like what is the corporation that operates in Nepal. Just want to know in case you know. No, a doctor also strike. Okay, Divyam, nice. Yeah, BMC in Mumbai. Yeah, right. Oh, no worries, no worries, no worries. I was just curious. So local authorities are basically something at national level is basically central government, and at local authorities basically local governments. Sometimes it's like in foreign country, it's mainly mayor or some local corporations which basically work on on day-to-day operation of that city or that state. So this like in case in our country like India, we have Delhi, Mumbai, and many other states. And sorry, Kathmandu municipality. Okay, okay, nice to know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You're telling me. I'm only understanding. Okay, you are telling me Kathmandu municipality. So maybe. So these Belen is okay. Nice to know. Nice to know. So NGOs, non-government organization. Okay, there's a not-for-profit organization, and then there's an NGO, non-government organization. So these are this is very interesting to understand, like what is non-government organization, and then there's corporate society and mutual association. See, each individual topic is a discussion on its own, and it has its own relevance for a business. Like I said, somebody asked me like what is environment earlier, a question about environment. So this is a great example that these organizations like NGOs, cooperative society, local authority, trade union means labor, your own employees, charities, NGOs, public sector organization where government has invested. For a business, it is very important to understand what it affects, how it affects, what to what extent, and how much it basically affects to a business. These things are very going to be important. Why? Because in order to run a business, I have to understand these organizations. When we become big, when we become large, this becomes very relevant. So we'll be discussing in detail. Like now, this actually activity has come. So instead of pointing out this, I'll first explain what these are, and then only we'll be covering this activity. Let me just quickly check key resources. Okay. Now this is actually discussing all that. No worries. So let me just quickly jump to my PPT, and this is where we can check. So let me know if, okay, this is again, just jump to it. Hope you guys can see my screen, right? Purpose of organization we have already covered. Yeah, how organization differs. So this is basically what I have discussed here. Yeah, is organization always a business? No. I think Shivi, this is what we were discussing. There are multiple organizations, like the list there was a list of organizations. What I was trying to tell at the end, that it is important for a business to understand these other organizations' impact on their business. See, you are getting my point. I'm saying there are multiple organizations, trade union, government, NGOs, public sector, all other stuff. As a business organization, what these other organizations have an impact on me. That's actually from a point of business and technology. This is why this subject is there. I'm not saying that there are no other organizations. Okay. Now let's talk about yeah, sure. Basically, I'll check with VG team whether I have to share it. Like they'll basically share a link with you, whether you have to reach out there. Because see, whatever I'm doing right now, basically part of the VG learning. So how we are going to go about it. So I'll check whether they will share the link with you, or I can share with you on the WhatsApp. I'll definitely share. This will be shared with you, but I'll want to check like who, where, how to basically go about it. That's where I'll be checking with you. Okay. Is there a question? Explain the basic difference between business and organization. Yeah, organization, like I mentioned, organization can be multiple things. Like first, let me clear this question. Like, what is the basic difference between business and organization? Business is an economic activity. Okay, business is an economic activity where somebody buys, somebody sells. There is a transaction happening between two or more individuals where there is a buyer either of service or goods, and there is a seller either of goods or services. Okay, there is always an economic transaction going on in a business. Organization can be anything. Organization can be government. Government basically does not associate itself with business unless necessary. Government basically, what is the main agenda of government? Government main agenda is that it serves larger individuals. Like it ensure that there is a law and order. It ensure that people service oriented, yeah, but government's main agenda is basically to ensure law and order, to ensure that everybody have equal rights, everybody gets to eat food. Government basically ensures a larger task than any business. Public welfare, yeah, a very summarized word for to say public welfare, yeah, but government also ensures the businesses stay stable. Like our government, like as an Indian government, they always try to make sure all the necessary change. Like I'm not sure whether you have heard interest rates hike, like interest rates hike, or basically printing money. I'm not sure whether you have heard. Government take these tools to actually help stabilizing the businesses, because government also know that businesses help create, yeah, repo rates, yeah, rightly said, Roshan. So basically government basically tries to stabilizes the business. Why? Because businesses serve ultimately the people. Businesses, when the economic activity happens, there's a flow of money that people actually there's a generation of income, and when generation of income distributed among people, so they can actually do things for themselves, and that is what is the agenda of the economy activity. So organization is can be anything. Like as I mentioned, trade union is also an organization. Union is basically group of individuals. Corporate society is basically not for profit. I'm not sure whether you have heard, we'll discuss about Amul is a great example of corporate society, like where employees the owner and employees also share the profit, not salaries. This is very interesting, which we'll be discussing. Just I'm not sure whether we will be having time today, but yeah, we'll be discussing these on all in detail. Okay, so I hope the doubt is clear about organization and the business, right? So let's go about it. Let me know in case not, otherwise I'm taking it as a yes. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, generally many businesses start small. Like if I start a business today, I'm not going to become, like a millionaire or billionaire right away. I'll have to start somewhere. So maybe I have a capital of 10,000. And capital means whenever I'm introducing money to the business, that is capital. I hope you do business always have to make profit. Basically, it depends if business is commercial. If business is commercial, they have to make a profit. The profit is one of the priorities, not the only priority, but one of the priorities. Okay, commercial businesses have one of the goals of profits, but the main agenda is maximization of shareholder wealth. This is something that we'll be learning. Basically, maximization of wealth, whether shareholder or owner. Even the small businesses want their wealth to increase. I'll explain what is the difference between profit and wealth. We'll be discussing that. Okay. So as I was mentioning, small entities and many businesses start small and many remain so. Why? Because as I mentioned, like I'll be starting a business, so I'll be introducing like 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, whatever in my capacity I have. So I'll be starting as a small, because in terms of big players which have crores of rupees or maybe million, maybe billions. So I'm very small in terms of that. So that way I'll be starting as a small. But many people, basically, if you see your shopkeeper around you, or maybe many small businesses that are around you, wherever you have grown, so you might have seen some business activities, some shopkeepers, some people who are doing business for like years, and they are still there doing that. They have not grown out of that. They have not created multi-millionaire businesses. Why? Because the main reason is because they work alone. And this is the key difference that we were discussing. What is the benefit of having an organization? Okay, so they basically work alone, and that is the reason they remain small. And why do they work alone? Is because of the risk involved, and that is a very important word. They work alone because they cannot trust people. Like I'm doing a business and I have to hire somebody and I have to trust that person, because once the business starts expanding, you have to start trusting people. But how do you trust people? Because people are only going to think about that. Let me give you one example. Let's say I'm in India, okay, and I want to invest in UK. How do I make sure? How do I gain the trust that sorry, if sorry, sorry about that. So if I invest in a UK country and a company based in UK, so how do I make sure that the person I have invested in will not, take away money and run away? How do I get that trust? So there's a risk involved when I involve my money, when I involve other people's in my businesses, or I invest in other people. That basically takes a risk. So many people actually remain small because they don't want to take risks, and that's what basically the risk part comes. That once you start taking risk, you start taking risk, you start expanding, because the more risk you take, the more gain you can get. But in order to, you should not always go about a blind risk. There's also a term called, mitigating risk, taking controls, implying controls in order to ensure that such disastrous things doesn't happen, that people just run away and take your all money. No, there's a control for that. They are basically responsible. There's an accountability for that. Okay, are you getting? So these all things are basically important in terms of a business. So yeah, we are already on a time. Can we just do 10 minutes? Like I'll be just covering this, and then we'll be just finishing this. I know we have exceeded the time. Just 10 minutes, because we were just about to start a very interesting topic. Okay, let me know in case anybody to leave. We'll be just covering for 10 minutes max. You can watch it later if you want to leave. That's fine by me. But just 10 minutes more. Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned, like many businesses now, like this is the point that we have already covered. Like once you grow, eventually you have to expand, and that actually to expand you have to have more capital. More capital means more money, and you have to have more individuals, and that's basically organization expands. But there is a technological factor involved in that do we require too many people to involve, or do we can we take help of the technology as well? So that is going to be interesting point to discuss. Okay. So general difference between organization, like how organization differs. Like somebody actually, people will keep texting about like, like what is a public sector and private sector. So as earlier discussed, that organization can differ based on the ownership. Like there's a public private sector. What private sector means, that something that is not owned by the government. So anything that is not owned by government is basically private sector. So basically the natural question comes, so what does government own? So whenever something that government owns is basically a public sector, like schools or hospitals. They are mostly schools, or mostly government schools. Government school means that money is invested by the government, and their purpose is not to earn profit, though they charge some money, but the money charged by them is very cheap in comparison to private schools. And I'm not sure like about this, or yeah, sure. Sankalp, you can ask me. You can ask me even on the school come under NPO. Kritika, can you tell me what is NPO? I'm not sure. Like not for profit organization. No, depends. We will be discussing. Like let's first discuss between the private and public. Let's not jump to the NPO now. Owned by individuals. Yeah, private sector is owned by individuals. Even by that is interesting. That sometimes it can be owned by companies. Sometimes it can be owned by institutions. Sometimes it can be owned by trusts. The mostly in case of public sector, when we say hospital, schools, the government is not directly investing. They actually first create a trust, and then only they basically, the trust actually take care of the school part. But in case of private sector, they can also be a trust. Do you know Tata Group, which is one of the largest company, one of the biggest company in India, is actually owned by a trust? And that trust actually consists of individuals, that I agree, but Tata is actually owned by a trust. So in the private sector can be owned by individuals as well as trusts. So please be clear about it. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So for the timing, we are just discussing about in terms of ownership, like how organization can differ. Like in case of private sector, mostly it's going to be profit making. It's not like private sector are only going to be profit making, but most of the time it's going to be basically the main aim is profit making. Public sector basically providing services to the public. If you go to any hospital that is public, They'll not charge you. They'll not overcharge you. They'll only charge you based on cost, or sometimes even free. You know, government spends a lot of their budget on basically medicals. Why? And what does it mean? It means that there are so many medicines that cost cheap to us, which otherwise would have been, very expensive if government have not spent money. That's called subsidy. I'm not sure whether you are guys familiar with this word. Subsidy means government spending money on your behalf. Okay, and you don't have to spend the entire money, and then you receive that product at a cheaper price. That is basically subsidy. So government basically spends a lot of money on medication. For any country, in any country, government spend, except US. I'm not sure about US. Medical bills are way too high. I'm not sure why. They, even after being the most developed country, they have the craziest medical bills. I'm not sure why, but yeah, government spend a lot of money. Scooty and etc. That's for promotion. Divyam, that's for promotion. Yeah, we'll be discussing like government's role in basically encouraging in any industry. Like government right now is encouraging the I'm not sure whether you have heard this, environment friendly automobiles. Environment friendly. Why Elon Musk car is different from another people's car? I hope you guys all know Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who has basically manufactured, I have earlier given, yeah, electrical vehicles, right? Electrical vehicles. Why? Because they actually claim to basically create less carbon dioxide in the environment, basically less pollution. That's what the electric cars is currently. Yeah, Tesla. Yeah, right. So that's what currently electric cars. So that is basically government's role in promoting any industry. Let's say government want to promote an industry, like our industry was promoted in 1991. Like our then Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, actually introduced 1991 liberalization globalization bill, and at that time he basically introduced many laws, basically lifting many regulations, reducing many regulations, inviting many companies outside the country, and that's how we became actually the number one in the service sector, because we actually encourage those sectors. Right, we have been also trying to encourage the manufacturing sector, like our current government is trying to enhance the manufacturing sector as well. But that's what we will discuss, like how much government try to incentivize, how much try to encourage, and then how much business can actually see it as an opportunity, whether it can actually avail those opportunities. This is all just part of that. So currently I hope you are clear with the ownership part. Like we'll be discussing detail later on, detail like TBD means to be discussed later. But public sector, I hope you have just a general idea of what is private sector and public sector. Hope that is clear. Let me know in case you have any doubt. Will a private sector be a public sector without involvement of government? See, any involvement by government. Government means, and government does not mean only the central government. Government can be agency, like local authorities. That is basically governed by any law. So state agencies, local authorities, anything that is that can be called as a government will basically make it as a public sector. Because see, why government gets involved? Government uses your tax. You are a taxpayer. Let's say you buy some products from the local grocery, so there's a tax collection that happen, and that basically received by the government. So that is your money, and you are spending that money. So the government collects that money and then invest in an organization, invest in an industry. So there is a reason why, because that government wants to help public, for public welfare, providing services, stabilizing businesses. Whenever government gets involved, they uses public money, because the money that government has is actually yours and mine. That's not somebody's outsider's money. That's actually yours and mine money. That's why whenever government is involved, that is always going to be a public sector. Hopefully that is clear. Right? I think, I'm not sure whether we have time for this point, but I'll just quickly cover and then we'll just wrap it up. Hopefully, if directly normal public money is used, what do you mean by direct money? I mean, government invest, like I mentioned, like in case of school and hospitals, government don't have their account and then spending money from there. They actually create a trust. There's a process goes that how government actually spends. Government can actually create another institution, like SEBI is one of the examples of government creating an institution for spending money, like for educating people about investment, shares, stock markets. There's there's a way that government says, like IPOs, yeah, basically IPOs is like you are talking about public companies. Yeah, that is what we are talking about. Public companies, basically, IPOs is a way of basically government raising money for a company. That is actually, you're mixing two topics right now. One, that let's say LIC. I hope you guys know about LIC. Is there anybody who does not know about LIC? Anyone? Or because this is a good example. Like Roshan, you don't know about LIC? I'm surprised because I thought you would know. You know, or you do not know? I'm not sure. Roshan, what do you mean by yes? You do not know. You do know. Okay. So I hope there is no money. I'm just understanding investing of public money in the public. Yeah. Shivraj, don't worry. I'm explaining. That's why I'm trying to explain the LIC example. See, LIC is currently owned by the government. When I say owned by the government, 90% of the LIC shares or LIC ownership is with the government because government has invested the money. How LIC started? Basically, this is called insurance. I hope you understand what insurance means. That in case of any incident, the insurance company pays you amount. See, and okay. So what happens here? That because it's a at that time when it was introduced, like in 90s, or maybe I'm not sure, like I don't remember the date when LIC was created. So at that time what happened, that government actually it was not done by any private company. First of all, to actually start an insurance business, you have to have crores of capital, like 500, 600,000, 2,000 crore. So at that time, no private company had that much of money, and they don't want to invest that much of money because they were not sure whether people would be interested in this business. But government knew that life is important. Life is important, like yours or mine or anybody's life is important. And they know if a family, it depends on one individual. Let's say my family depends on me, let's say your family depends on you, and anything mishap happens, hopefully that does not happen, touch to the wood, but let's say any mishap happens. So if the person that the family is dependent on, let's say let's say individual, like whether you or me or any female person or any person, so that family basically depend on that person, and something happens to that person. So what happens, suddenly that family basically gets into financial trouble. They are already in the emotional trouble, they are also get into the financial trouble. So in order to protect the people, because it was at a large scale, government wanted to protect as many people as possible, so they introduced LIC. They invested their money, though it can be done by a private company, but government actually made the law. And LIC has a separate act. Actually, insurance company has a separate act. There's an insurance act which basically governs this all life insurance industry. So basically government invested that money. Now, what happened after years, there were crores of people, actually, many, like, actually, there are many people who have insurance. Like you have banking insurance. If you have bank account, you might have a banking insurance and you are not even aware about it. So many people actually covered in that insurance. Now, later on, what happens? Because the company is stable and company is running for so long, now government, what government says, okay, we have this stake, or like let's say 100%, but we need money. Okay, we need money. This is still owned by us. So what happens, let's say we'll just share the 10% of the share. Let's say I'm running a business and I feel, okay, I need a money. How do I generate money? Because the business is not able to generate sufficient money that I need. So I'll say, basically sell a certain percentage of it, and then basically collect that money. So IPO is basically a process where government is selling its share of ownership. Like I have 10 houses, I sell I sell one house out of 10, I still have basically 9 houses. So government is doing basically a part of that company to the public. So because the government still has, like somebody mentioned, like 50% or something, so government still majority of it is owned by the government. That's it, still basically make it a public sector. But because government has now basically sold the share in the IPO. IPO means a platform where government can basically ask the company basically to sell their share. It's basically a platform. Yeah, sure. I let me unmute.
So actually, my understanding is that like if a normal citizen invests through a IPO, like IPO is done by the government. I know that
Yeah.
in case of India, SEBI issues that a company is like they can go for the IPO, and the normal citizen
Yep.
invest in that. Then my understanding is that in a Tata Motors, like we don't have the government shares. Yeah. So government are not the portion of like Tata Motors.
That is not a public sector. That is a private
Yeah,
sector, right?
they
That is
are
a
only
private
giving
company.
the service for the IPOs.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they are just
SEBI,
listing
SEBI,
listing the
SEBI. Right.
listing the
SEBI.
companies.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this case, like if maximum number of Indian citizens will buy the or their money are invested through the IPOs, then
Right.
will it be the public company then?
Yeah, the public company, private company is different. Private sector and public sector is different. Okay, they are. I think
Okay.
there's a two concepts. Private sector, any company that is basically not owned by the government is private sector. Okay, that is private sector. But when you say public company versus private company, the difference between public, I'll be discussing it later in detail. So don't worry, everyone. But for the query, public company means that you are asking money from outsiders. Private company means that you have invested your money. So when you say that some people have basically companies raise money through IPOs, that's basically make it public. Whenever you raise money from public, like whenever you have more, like in India, there's I'm not sure, like I remember the exact number, but previously it was 200 members which can make private company. But if the members of the company increases from 200, it basically becomes public company, because
Yeah,
now you
exactly.
are,
Exactly. I was
yeah,
asking the same question
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
in Nepal at the time of registration, we just have the 100 number of shares in my company. But in the public, there are the unlimited numbers. So there are the limited numbers, but certain
No, no,
limits.
no, no, no,
So
no,
that
no
are
worries.
exceeding the 100 numbers. So I was understanding that only.
No
So
worries, no
thank you,
worries.
sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay. Hopefully that is clear. Is there basically now we have exceeded 15 minutes, so I don't think we can continue anymore. And sorry about those who were basically having a deadline till 9, but you can watch it like after 9. We have just discussed a tip of it, like ownership, and I'll be covering it in the next class, so don't worry. But in case you want it, you can watch. We cannot invest and transfer shares in private company. No, we can. That is a misconception. In case we cannot, that is the only difference between private company and public company is that we can share transfer in both of this, but the platform changes. The private company shares are not easily tradable. Tradable means I cannot easily find a person, okay, buy my share. That is the difficulty of private company. But the public company, basically, because there's a platform of SEBI, there's a NSE and BSE, which are stock exchange. I think I have to cover this because so many questions are coming related to stock market. So yeah, the private company can. I'm just answering the question. In case anybody wants to leave, they can leave the session. I'm just finishing the session right now. So yeah, the only difference between private company and public company is the level of acceptance, the easiness of trading the share. That share can be transferred easily by a public company, unless there's some reputation issue going on, some public crisis going on. Otherwise, public company shares are easily tradable. And the only difference between private company and public company is that public company can raise the money from public, like outsiders, like out of 200 members, but rest private company cannot. That is not allowed. In order, if they want, they have to basically become the public company, and that is a different process. So we'll be discussing this topic. Don't worry, this is very important topic. But yeah, that will be coming. I hope the public and private sector is part now clear. Government owns. So no worries, no worries. Hopefully, Shivraj, now you are clear. Okay. So thanks everyone. And first of all, my apologies for the PPT issue. And second, my apologies for exceeding the time. Hopefully you find the session enjoyable and learning. So let me know in case any feedback, in case you want to, you can give the feedback on the WhatsApp group, or you can give the feedback to VG team itself, like whether I need to slow down. Great class. Thanks, Aslan. Basically, you can just give the feedback like whether I need to slow down or whether I should pace up. I'm going too slow, or anything that something needs to be added here. So just let me know. Okay. So thanks everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Cleared all doubts. Thank you. Okay, semi-time public sector, Sankar, time public sector. Okay, I'm just clearing out in case anybody wants to leave. Please. It forms private sector sales. It's formed to private, so does change holding change. Yeah, it does, Sankalp. It does. I'll tell you in detail. In case you want, you can just message me on WhatsApp. I'll explain it to you, and otherwise in next class. Okay. Thanks everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for the time, and let's meet tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye.